pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Now we have the public hearing for Stantec is going to give us a presentation for bike and pedestrian grant presentation, and I'm going to get out of the way so my head isn't involved with this.
Chance we could dim the lights?
Yep, hit the lights. There we go.
All right. My name is Eric Alling. I'm from Stantec, a consulting and engineering firm in South Burlington, and we are here to talk about the bike and TED scoping study that we've been working on this summer. A quick overview of what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to go through a general overview of the project development process, look at the project area that we are studying, a quick review of the existing conditions, research that came from the previous scoping study from this past spring, and then the main focus tonight is to hopefully open up a discussion to get some feedback on the alternatives that we're going to present, and then we will wrap it up by talking about the next steps after tonight. This is the typical flow of any transportation project. It begins with identifying a problem or an issue. That's defined through the scoping process, which is where we are now. Once that scoping is done, the project will become eligible for funding. Once it gets funding, it gets designed and then ultimately built. A little bit closer look at the scoping piece. Data has been gathered mostly from the previous scoping study. At that time, a local concerns meeting was held. From that, we started to develop alternatives, and we're here to show those alternatives tonight. After tonight, it goes through an update to that scoping study, and then ultimately it should be brought back here for endorsement once we have a recommended alternative. So the project area is slightly different than the previous project. The previous study, it looks at just the roadway area instead of all of downtown and the parking areas, so it's pretty much exactly where you see that dotted line is what we are, thank you, what our focus is on this study. The existing conditions relevant to this project, it's a great village green, some really nice looking historical buildings, monuments and memorials, some pretty good sidewalk facilities along the eastern side of Main Street. But the issue is with the roadway when it comes to bike and pedestrian safety. This situation is what we often refer to as a sea of pavement. It's not really clear where different types of users are supposed to go. That's probably the longest crosswalk I've ever seen, and it's right at the roadway level, so it's not very comfortable for a pedestrian to walk at the same level as the roadway without any type of horizontal separation. And in terms of access management, we've got two parking lots that can be seen in each of the two pictures with basically just a free-for-all. You can take any path you want to get to those parking spaces, which creates a lot of potential conflict points with bicycles. So again, what we're focused on tonight is pedestrian and cyclist safety. All the streetscape beautification recommendations that came out of that previous study still stand, but that's not what this study is. And with that, we can jump right into the alternatives, and perhaps the best way is if I just go through the three of them, and then we can go back into any of them if there's questions, and we can look at each one individually. So this is alternative one, which we've called parallel parking. What should jump out immediately is that it's really sort of cleaned up and the roadway space has been narrowed, and it's very clearly defined in terms of which user uses which space. In this case, we rotated the existing angle parking spaces here and here and here and rotated them to parallel parking spaces. That's the safest situation for bicycles. Sorry?
Where are we?
Oh,
What street?
This is Main Street. There's the green right here.
Can you identify buildings or something? Because I
Wooden
can't.
soldier is, I think we have.
This is so that's the gas station, and here's Durfee's,
Right.
and then that's the Wooden Soldier building right there.
Right, thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that green area is where you're contemplating parallel parking?
The green area would be grass. Actually, I'll zoom in a little closer.
So what you're looking, and once, to take quite a few parking spaces away from Durfee's and leave 3 parallel spaces?
Yeah, we
Is what I'm
will.
looking at?
Yeah, we'll get to that piece.
Okay.
But yes, this is just one of the alternatives. This is the first alternative. This presents the safest scenario for bikes because cars can see them clearly when they're both backing into the space and leaving the space. And there's enough room for a 2-foot painted buffer here and here, which gives the bikes a space if somebody opens a car door. And it keeps them separated from the vehicle traffic a little bit as well. In terms of pedestrian upgrades, we've got curb extensions here, and a little bit further down the road here. And that both shortens the crosswalk and puts the pedestrian further towards the travel lane so that they can be seen by motorists. And finally, it adds, why is putting those boxes there? Sorry about that. It adds some access management to the 2 parking areas. So there'd be a one-way in and a one-way out, which reduces those conflict points to 2 without really impacting the function of the parking areas. And that is essentially alternative 1. Alternative 2 maintains the angle parking, and it enhances the bike safety by adding a 10-foot shared use path to where is, I don't think there's any sidewalk here today, and there's 5-foot sidewalk along here, so this would widen that. This alternative would be the best for all bike user types. I think most parents would feel comfortable allowing their kids to ride bikes on a 10-foot wide shared use path. It can accommodate bikes in both directions and pedestrians all at the same time. So that's a great situation on the western side of the road. Doesn't do much to the existing parking out there except where the same curb extensions are that were in the first alternative. On the east side of the road, the upper part of the drawing, there wasn't enough room because of existing utility poles, so there would be a 5-foot wide bike lane that travels along here. In order to increase bike safety, we put that in front of the parking stalls, which in a perfect world would make it safer. Unfortunately, as the lines fade or people ignore the lines, if they pull all the way towards the curb face, it would completely block that bike lane. That can be mitigated with parking stall wheel stops. However, in winter, those can become a little bit of a nightmare issue, a maintenance issue. Again, the same parking access management on both of these existing parking lots. And finally, alternative 3 is definitely the most unique alternative. And this would take the existing angle parking and turn it into back-in only angle parking. Now, it might sound like a crazy idea, but it's been done in other cities with some success. It would have to be signed properly, however, it does come with a warning. It's not recommended that this type of parking be implemented as like a wholesale change. It's usually best to start this on a side road first and let people get used to it. Because what can happen is people will either swing wide and park head in this way, or they may end up going forward and backwards several times to get lined up. And then the other potential issue is if a vehicle is traveling, say, northbound, these look very inviting to pull straight in. If vehicles do pull straight in, then you've got the safety issue of a car backing across the bike lane, which is definitely a conflict point for the bikes. But with proper signing and a little bit of learning curve, it could potentially work. Again, the same 3 extensions, crosswalk extensions, and the same access management of the 2 parking areas. So those are the 3 alternatives. I've got a comparison matrix that we can look at some of the features of them, but for now, I guess it would be a good time to have any questions about any of these alternatives.
Are those green spots like at Liberty Street, are those just painted on the road, or?
Yes, those are painted bike markings. If anybody's been up near South Burlington or Williston, they're using them quite a bit there. It just helps really mark that spot where it crosses a roadway.
Did you consider, where you have the bike path going now, consider putting the bike path on the other side of the park instead of right through the center?
We did not. That's outside of this particular scoping studies project area.
Because we don't have that parking. To me, when I look at this, I'm seeing parking spaces go away and the downtown people going right up in arms saying, what are you doing to me? I like the green space,
Yeah.
but if the bike path, and then it's another whole discussion over how our taxpayers really feel about a bike path.
I have a question, Joe. I just wanted to, my name's Mike Morris, and I've been putting on rides, go rides for cyclists from the South Park in Fairhaven for a number of years. For 2 years especially, and I'm a vice president of Killington Plateau Cycling Club. And Glenn's point of rerouting cyclists, what I try to do is I go over the Marble Street Bridge, which is open to pedestrians and cyclists, but not open to traffic. So I take bicyclists out of town that way to Pleasant Street, to Polino's, and then we go to Bolger Road or anything. And most other times you leave West Street, and we are on the backside of the park. Main Street is the most dangerous area to be on a bicycle. The hardest part for a cyclist, everybody likes to ride River Street. I grew up in Blissville, and it's to make a left-hand turn either at Liberty Street or down the hill. And I don't know if the alley is still open, but the rerouting of cyclists away from the center of town to the back of the park, that's the way we've done it, just to keep things safe. I do the same thing, bringing people back into town. It's Polino's, go to the quieter streets, come back up Marble Street. And I just introduced myself to Joe. I didn't know what this was all about. I was more interested in getting a helmet program started in the town, because I've seen a resurgence in the kids cycling here. You're going to be selling more property. And we also talked about Inland Pond as being a recreational hiking, walking site for the town of Fairhaven. I'm not a taxpayer in Fairhaven, but I have a family here, and I will be promoting the town like I have been for 2 or 3 years, and not bringing in a lot of number of people, but people are buying a sandwich, going to Liberty Street, and it all adds up. And really, it's to be the cycling center of the universe. It's one of the most safest, prettiest places to cycle in Vermont, and I've been at it a long time. But that's all I have to say about the green space, is just the routing of bicycles in general around town, and using one side of the park or your old alley down to Cottage Street. You have a couple of reroute deals, or down by the graded school. You could keep all cyclists off both sides of Main Street if you wanted to, without disrupting any parking or anything. It's just an idea. I'm an outsider, and I just wanted to share that with you. That's all. From a cyclist point of view, in the town, who cycles here every 2 days a week, Friday and Sunday, with a group, and we promote safe cycling, and that's kind of just what I wanted to offer.
Could you tell, this looks nice in the summertime, could you tell me how we're gonna remove snow? The way you got everything set up there now?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be plowed into some of the new space, the new
But
green
you can't
space.
even, you couldn't get a truck in there to plow, the way you got it set up.
Into here?
Yeah, you got that all blocked off over there. And then you're putting that grass in the middle of the place where they pile their snow.
Well, the truck could go around the islands, right?
Not very
You
handy.
ever drove a truck?
Not one that big.
All right.
With a plow on it that way?
This is, I think it's, I don't know, I disagree with this entirely.
I haven't seen much.
I'm more worried concerned about our public works being able to keep the roads open in the wintertime. And I have to agree with Mr. Morris. I feel the bikes going on the backside of the park and alternatives and not being on Main Street.
And I know he goes down West Street.
Yeah, I mean, that's a question for your community. I mean, do you want to bring bikes in, potentially have them stop, or if you just want to reroute them around, that's a different
Well,
topic altogether.
they can get to our records and stuff.
And could I,
So, sorry, go ahead.
I just would like to say, you can't find a parking space at Turkey's now as it is, if you take any of those parking spaces away
So
from that store.
we did look at parking numbers as part of the study. We got 6 separate counts, and on the average day, only 30% of the spaces are utilized. So there may not be a space directly in front of where you're trying to go, but if you create a space where people feel comfortable walking, they may be willing to park a little bit further away if they've got a nice sidewalk and crosswalk to get to where they want to go. Sorry.
I think we have a nice sidewalk across. I
On what-
I ride my bike down street almost every day, and that long crosswalk that you talked about, completely safe from around the park to Durfee's. And then you got your crosswalks down there, and sidewalks are good. I can imagine. Now, is the green going to be grass where we see the triangle?
Yeah, it would just be an extension of the grass.
So just grass,
Yeah.
no trees?
There could be trees there, but we didn't have any plan for here.
Trees would be additional.
That's something that could certainly easily be added to a project like this, but we're just showing it as green space now instead of pavement.
How is this gonna work with like 18-wheeler semis, because we're on a pretty decent truck there. It just seems congested when you start putting 2 or 3 big rigs in there at a time.
I mean, the lanes stay at 11 feet, it shouldn't really have any impact, we're not changing any of the.
They use a wider lane through town because of the way the town is configured. And where the Parkview house comes out there, those trucks have got to get around there. Their rear wheels are going onto your yellow line there.
I'm sorry, that's right here we're talking about? Right here?
Where the green is, they're wait.
Here?
Keep coming back. When they come around there, they come around pretty close there. There's a sign in the middle of the sidewalk out there. To miss that, and keep the truck there, it's narrow.
I can say that's a high radius curve, and there's also that 2 foot of buffer between the travel lane and the bike lane. There's plenty of space there to pass even a 67-foot truck. This wouldn't limit the ability for a truck to get through here. Another question back here?
Just wondering, the final scoping on this and recommendations, what is it? Does it include the current condition of sidewalks in this area? Because I cycle through town most every day, and what I see is kids, adults, everybody, a lot of people walking in the street. Presumably, I'm not sure what the reason is, but when I do walk downtown, there are a lot of spots where you just don't want to walk if they're unsafe, they're uneven. So is that included in all of this, or is this kind of like if you want to do this, then you have to go back and do a lot of pre-work to get to that point?
In terms of like upgrading existing sidewalks within this
Right,
area?
right.
It does not, it leaves the facilities to the upper side of the page as they are, and it adds the one shown in pink on each of the 3 alternatives to the western side of Main Street.
So without doing anything to the existing sidewalks, if people aren't using them because they're unsafe or they're uncomfortable for whatever reason, you could be putting pedestrians into the bike lane, because now they've got a nice smooth surface, painted and lined.
If the issue is redoing sidewalk, that could be something that would be added to any of these alternatives. I mean, it would increase the cost a little bit, but it could be done within right of way, and if that's a need, then that's certainly something that could be added in.
I have a question about alternative 2.
Sure.
This is strictly from an out-of-town perspective, because I'm not a Fairhaven resident. See the lines, the parking lines across from Dunkin' Donuts?
Is that here?
That's the gas. See your
Right
gas
here.
station right there?
Yeah, right here.
You've got your traffic pattern, you've got the left side they're coming in, and
Yep.
the right side they're going out.
Yes.
Think you're gonna have a problem because people are gonna try to turn into that first driveway where you got the entrance, trying to get into Dunkin' Donuts, and you're gonna be going against traffic.
Yeah, I mean, that could be signed with a do not enter, and it's still accessible, you know, at the other side of the lot.
Another question I have
Sure.
is, could you
Why
hire?
would you wanna make it harder for people to go to where they wanna go?
Right, yeah.
That's my
Well, the
question.
idea of this project is to make it safer for all roadway
Well,
users.
My question,
I
my
can't see
concern
where it's
is,
gonna
or
be
my
safe.
comment is, can you
I don't see it.
herringbone those parking spots? In other words, have the left side like you've got it, so they drive in that way,
Mhm.
and then with the other side, so they come in, so that they're herringbone rather than straight across like that. I know it's easier to line it when you got straight lines, but if you herringbone it, then you've got people parking straight in from both directions, because they're gonna do it anyway.
And right here.
So in that scenario, would you make it one way around?
Right.
Yeah. Or which probably would be one way around, but I don't, because it would be easier for people to park if you had a herringbone better, I think.
You mean instead of angled, just be straight,
Yeah.
90-degree parking?
Have it-
Yeah, yeah, that would be fine too. There should be enough room here. It's just a matter of if the vehicles would have enough space to back out, which they should. I think it's wide enough through here, but that's something we could certainly check.
Well,
And you could also leave this open at the top too. You could shift the parking down a little bit so that somebody could come in this way and cut straight across.
But then you're losing handicap parking.
Well, you could just move everything down a little bit.
Then you lose parking spaces on the
Just take up all the.
You may,
Don't have to worry about it.
Any other questions on the alternatives?
Just want, you asked the question to begin with about the three alternatives. Ideally, I don't like any of them, but if I was gonna say which one you may be able to make work, alternative 2 is better than 1 and 3, but every time I look at a bike lane, I think of our taxpayers, and I think, as a select board member, I'd get crucified if I told them I'd put that bike lane in here, and took that away. And rightfully, I wouldn't put a bike lane in without first going and asking if they wanted a bike lane. That would be a piece of this right here, before we,
That's
Alternative,
what this is.
right, but I mean, I'd be asking the taxpayers when they voted, because I'd almost guarantee you wouldn't get a bike lane.
I think alternative 1 is the best one.
Why is that?
They feel they don't need a bike lane, quite frankly.
I ride my bike, I feel very safe riding
That's-
my bike down the street.
I've only been hit once. No, serious. I was somebody backing out of a space and you can't see backing out of the parking spaces and I backed right into my back tire.
So you wouldn't want alternative 3.
Well, I mean, honestly, coming in here, I was on the revitalization committee, so a lot of this isn't foreign. It's been discussed ad nauseum over the last couple of years. Something I had not thought of that was brought up tonight by this gentleman to my left that I really think we need to look at is rerouting the bike traffic around the other side of the park, down Adams Street and out Marble Street. Because I find that's the way I go, because I'm not comfortable cycling through downtown with all of the, and they're not gonna go away. You can minimize the cross traffic, but there's so many points of access in that tiny little section of road that I find myself purposely going around it. And I don't see that changing no matter how many lines you paint on a road. And my concern with anything we do, even going back to the revitalization committee, is the maintenance. We have a hard time in this town maintaining what we have. And to add a bazillion more lines and 5 more days worth of work for the DPW, I'm not convinced it would be maintained, it would remain safe.
looking at the three alternatives, they range from 630,000 to $1,050,000. And myself, I feel a lot better, I know there's a lot better places in this town where we could spend $650,000.
So,
That's a lot of money.
That can use some
It's a lot of money that's going to add for more work.
okay, so that brings us to the evaluation matrix, and that is a good point. However, all of these alternatives do include repaving the entire roadway. So if one of these were done as part of a resurfacing project, that would essentially cover $350,000 of all of these prices. So sometimes these projects can become more manageable when they're tagged on to a routine maintenance project. But that is included in all these prices. However, design costs and inspection costs would be additional to those prices. But yeah, I mean, cost is certainly an important factor. There are many grant sources that are available where the town ends up only paying 20% instead of 100%. And it may be, that's one of the impacts of these projects. But in terms of evaluating the three of them together, they all do improve safety for bikes and for pedestrians. They all would meet ADA standards. They would all add to traffic calming due to the narrower widths and the curb extensions. For pedestrian safety, they're improved all the way across the board. We're down here now. I guess I got no mouse on that side. For cyclist safety on road, if we were talking about a bike lane, alternative A is the safest out of the three for strictly on road because it's got the least amount of parking potential conflicts compared to the other two. Getting back to parking, the current condition is 30% utilized, even under the worst case scenario on alternative 2 where, you know, we lose a couple dozen spaces, it still only gets to 40%, which means...
2 dozen spaces?
Well, there
Our
are,
case,
Are you kidding?
there's almost 200 out there today between the 2 parking lots north, right out here, and then along the west side of the park.
have you been here on Sunday morning?
Or
Thursday night.
Or downtown
Thursday.
last Tuesday or Wednesday morning, I looked across the road and there was only 2 empty spaces.
Okay, well, I mean, that's what we're here
All
to,
along the.
that's what we're here to talk
all
about
along the
today,
street.
yeah.
Can I chime in just real quick?
Absolutely.
So guys, please don't kill the messenger.
Right.
No,
Eric is here to just
They're
kind
just
of.
reporting on what we asked them to do.
Yeah, he's
Don't
just
think-
No,
reporting
it's fine.
and trying to help
Totally
us out. Just think of
Yep.
ideas. Nothing is set in stone. Nobody has said
At
we're
all.
gonna put in, no money has been spent to put in bike lanes, but he's just here to kind of help us along. If nobody wants to do anything, nothing has to be done.
And it should be noted that there is a 4th alternative, which is no action. Sometimes you look at a project and you decide the impacts are too great, and it's decided that, you know, maybe there's not a good project here.
In the last 15 or 20 years, how many bicycle accidents have we had in this town?
Or pedestrians.
Or pedestrians?
We didn't find any data on that.
At least one. Recently, he was backed into.
Yeah.
But I'm asking,
That was-
over a period of time, how many have we had?
I don't have the data, Jay, I'm sorry.
It's okay not to have them in the future too.
Right, I'm all for
I
being
gotta-
safe.
That's what this is about, right?
Personally,
Yes,
I think
right.
the way this is set up, you'd have more of them. Because they're gonna be involved in the traffic more than what they are right now.
How do you figure that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
How do you figure that? All the bikes will be right in the town, right where the cars are.
That's where they are now.
Oh, come on, I mean, you're gonna be,
Case bike
on the other side of the road, you're gonna be having the people driving in the bike lane, the park.
I'm not anti-cycling. I
I'm
feel
not
the way
e- I'm not
we
either.
could get on the rail trail, or we could, but I'm not putting bicycles with vehicles and then trying to make it safe enough so they can go through the middle of town. I'd rather have, if you're gonna have a walking path, bike path,
Is there an opportunity to go back and look at this in another way, to take bicyclists around the park? Because I was in downtown Manchester last week and they put in bicycle lanes and it seemed, and I'm a bicyclist, it seemed absolutely ridiculous to me. There's no bike lane, suddenly there's a bike lane, for 2 miles, not even, a mile, and then bike lane ends. So they lost a bunch of parking on Route 7. Where they didn't lose the parking, they changed it to parallel, and you got people winging their doors open, so, and then the road's narrower, so there's no place to go when somebody wings their door open. I just, because we have all of this area around the park and these side streets that have room to paint bike lanes, it just seems like that would be a better route to look at this point.
it would, but.
But we don't need another stuff.
Right, when, and the point that Jay was trying to make, when I start looking at the dollar signs, our taxes are already outrageous. I'd have a hard time convincing anyone to spend that kind of money for bike lanes.
But Glenn, and another point of view on it, I was also a professional driver for UPS. And UPS, always, for safety, wants to make a right-hand turn. It's the same with cyclists. You're coming off of Scotch Hill, it only makes sense to make a right-hand turn and reroute yourself around the park, down by the post office. You're pretty much going to ride Blissville, you're going to go straight across. Ultimately safe. If you're riding from River Street, you go through downtown, or you give them an alternative where it is Cottage Street. Again, right turns, all right turns. Coming into town from Blissville, it's all right turns to get you to Scotch Hill. Most of your cycling traffic in this town is going out West Street, it's going up Scotch Hill, 4A, Blissville. And basically, it's just you don't need to spend a lot of money to keep kids in the town safe. And signage, there's no signage for an actual bike route in town. And signage is pretty cheap compared to what you're looking at. But I mean, thanks for your study and everything. I'm just pointing out a couple things that only make monetary sense. Being a cyclist, makes a lot of sense to turn right if you can, instead of going across traffic. Like I said, the problem areas are just trying to turn on to Blissville or something, but with your configuration of the town also, being a professional driver, I did not see a lot of loading zones for a UPS truck to take care of your main town. You put a green in there, you've got a guy walking. Now the UPS driver is walking a mile with his hand cart to take care of all of downtown because he can't get into that spot that you just made a green space. So you've got to consider, I mean, it's a viable town, but you're getting freight all the time. You've got to have room for your freight trucks, whether it's in front of Durfee's or in front of the park, and like Jay says, with the plowing in the winter. And I know the town as far as spending money. And when you think cycling and winter, they don't mix. You're just not going to have a cyclist out there unless they're, you know, those are just some points of view from a truck driver and a cyclist. So.
Thank you. Okay.
Any other questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this. And what's the next step?
So the next step would be to.
We can turn
take
the
this-
lights,
yeah,
we can turn the lights back on.
Bill, just hit those lights.
Take the feedback that we got tonight, incorporate it into the update to the scoping report, and then bring it back for endorsement, whichever alternative that ends up being. Thank you.
So he needs something from us.
Thanks for your time.
Not really. He just wanted to give his report.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, there was not a lot of.
I'm gonna go ahead and start.
Go ahead.
Okay, folks, we're gonna get back onto the break. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and do your thing, you're fine. Amendments to the agenda.
I'd like the motion to put 42 West Street on the agenda under executive session.
42 West? One I just handed you a picture of?
No, that's West, this is Washington.
Oh, that's Washington, sorry.
We have an executive session.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, we do.
Is there
You're a second?
I'll second it.
Everybody okay with that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's added to an executive session. Any other thing?
Yeah, so, so I'll use my words today. Sam received a grant today from V-Trans, and we need board approval. If we could add that under new business, if the board would care. That came in after the agenda was prepared.
Is there a motion?
Yeah.
A second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's under new business. Anything else? Yeah, well, kind of used to this place. Okay, approval of the minutes for August 13th.
Approval as presented for August 13th.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Additions, deletions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Five minutes for public comment. Aye.
I just want to announce that the Fairhaven Historical Society received an award from Eric for our publications, Memories of Fairhaven.
Oh, cool.
We just found out today, so Lorraine and I are going to be going up September 29th to receive the award. We're very So we have for the second.
Anyone else? Moving right along. Rescue Squad update. Thank you for coming.
Liz is here tonight. We just had a meeting before our meeting here, and we're gonna get an update on what we decided tonight and maybe moving forward with more trips, better coverage. Right now, we're running a few transports about the weeks out a little bit. Liz, you know the lingo better than I do.
So, my name is Elizabeth Orr. I'm from Orwell. A little bit of my background, my husband and I had a dairy farm for 30 years. So I do come to this with some business experience. Again, a nonprofit, but business experience. I've worked 2.5 years for Middlebury Regional. And I've been on Orwell First Response for almost 7. So I come with varied background. Wasn't quite sure what I was getting my feet into. But I kept hearing one thing, was that when you could get the ambulance to come, very good care in Fairhaven. That made me feel really good. And that really kind of gave me the energy to want to come down here to see what I could do. So Middlebury Regional has granted me 3 months to come down. I'm still their employee. Fairhaven is paying me, but I'm still on their roster. As a cushion, it doesn't work out. I've got a home to go back to. And I'm so thankful for that. But I really, really want this to work because, like I told Lanny and the board the night I interviewed, is I want to bring this passion that I've always had and people that I've worked with in Middlebury and Orwell and other places. Get this passion in your heart. And I just wanted to bring that back down to Fairhaven because it seemed as though this station had lost that passion. So some of the things we've done, my first 2 days were literally spent in shock and awe, going through the trucks. I had made a couple trips down, kind of looked through, thought I kind of knew the conditions of things. When I got here and really got my hands into the bags and into the trucks, I found that everybody had said this was a board thing that was going on. Well, the board had people working for them who were not doing their job. I don't know these people. The one good thing about coming to Fairhaven is I have no ties really with anybody. So there was 30% of the stock that was on the truck was outdated. Stock that needs to be on the truck has never even been purchased down here. The record keeping was not done. Supplies had not been ordered. We threw away two great big 50-gallon tubs of expired stuff. I also kept 8 boxes about this big of stuff to use for training. I just, to this day, I kind of shake my head and I wonder how Fairhaven held on as long as it did and how they were able to do their job. But, so now, this is 3, 4 weeks? I guess somebody told me I've been down here 4 weeks. Seems like a really bad long vacation. Absolutely exhausted, losing sleep. The outpouring of community members that have come up to us at Regional Hospital, on the street, when we are in sneaking ice cream at Stewart's has been absolutely overwhelming. Absolutely everybody. I said, thank your staff for showing up and coming and helping. It's what this town needs. So we have one truck that's fully stocked, ready to go. It's on the road. What happens down here though is there aren't a whole lot of calls. So we can be sitting here for 2 days, paying out hourly wage for 2 people and not making any income. And because the call volume is small, we absolutely have to do transfers, which is hard for myself and my partner that came the same time I did, because we don't come from a station where you take your primary unit out of service, out of the community. But to balance and get this budget going, we have to. And it's been a really, really, really difficult decision, and we came nose to nose today that if we want to stay afloat, we've got to do the transfers that come available, or we're not going to have revenue to keep us going. It's been difficult, it's caused a lot of tension, but it's what we need to do. So the long-term goal, so we've got staff coming in. I think we have hired 9 new people. We have, I call one old hat, Donnie Proctor. He says, yeah, tell me what you want me to do. I'll do whatever I can, just tell me. We've got a couple paramedics who want to run. One is deployed on our northern border, and the other one is, he lives in Ludlow. He's in between some kind of transition to VTC. Says once VTC starts his classes back up, he plans on running for us. I've talked to the state office because I'm like, it's licensing time. We've got to get our licensing tomorrow night. Do we stay at paramedic level? Do we come down to the ALS level? Which means if you're having a heart attack, I can give you everything to keep you going, but I can't give you much payment. So after talking to the state, lo and behold, the state of Vermont and their wisdom says you don't even have to have paramedics on your roster. You only have to plan to have them with you at some point. Great, we can afford that. We can plan long-term all we want. So we're going to keep our paramedic license. The plan will be, if we need paramedics, got them in Raleigh, and we will meet them halfway. So, and that's very workable for this community. A lot of new people, which means a lot of green people. I used to teach J-term, Middlebury College, and a month with these 20-somethings would almost put me over the edge. So what have we filled up our station with? Oh yeah. So my worst nightmare, I have surrounded myself with very, very energetic new blood. They want to run. They want to run now, and they want to run hard. So it's going to take a little time to teach them not to run hard, not to run fast, and not to run over. So we've got people that there's still a training piece that we have to do before we just let them out to take care of grandma. Because we don't want grandma dropped. We don't want her forgotten. We don't want her paperwork lost. We want her to get to the hospital in equal or better shape than when we picked her up. So think about yourselves, your sons, your grandsons when they were in their 20s in a big truck, with red lights and sirens that can go really fast. It's just gonna take some time. You need to be patient with that. Long term, we're already setting up transfers. We got a transfer out of Dartmouth tomorrow. We had one out of Rutland today. It's income. We've got the second truck ready. And the hope is, come around the 15th of September, we're going to have 2 crews on every day, at least Monday through Friday. The primary crew, I'm hoping, will be 7 days a week, 7A to 7P, with a second crew working out of Rutland just doing transfers. And they will be limited to 5 or 6 hours a day, because we are working around fathers who have kids in school. Drop the kids off, come in, run down to Rutland with the ambulance, do 2 or 3, hopefully 4 transfers in the area, come back, park the truck, come back another day. That way, our primary crew is here. I have other building blocks, but I don't want to pass them along now because we need to build on what we have first. I have short-term goals, I have long-term goals. The board tonight agreed to pay the night shift their hourly wage. You can't get people to leave their homes, leave their families, for a promised $40 stipend, and if you get called out, you'll get moved. Just doesn't happen that way. As much as we wish we still had volunteers, those days are gone. People spend a lot of time and a lot of money getting their license and 50 hours a year keeping their license, along with high performance CPR and your regular Red Cross CPR and this training and that training, and like our police and like our firemen. What used to be kind of a fun hobby takes over your life, and you keep up your certs 4, 5, 6 hours every month just in a training, along with your calls, along with your maintenance, along with your everything else that comes with it. We want to succeed. I've had conversations with Rutland Regional Ambulance, because there's a lot of feeling in this area that Rutland Regional wants to take over. They want nothing to do with Fairhaven. Not because they don't like Fairhaven, it's just too darn far to come 3 or 4 times a day in the middle of the night. They're short-staffed too. Don't think it's just Fairhaven, believe me. Orwell doesn't have enough people, Middlebury Regional doesn't have enough people, and we all just keep circulating people. So I'm in the office 40 hours a week. Right now I'm there 4 days, 5 days a week. You can call if you have questions. More than willing to sit with you, talk to you, answer questions, come to meetings. We really want to make this work. If I could have anything in the world right now, it would be for somebody I love very much to win the lottery, and they could just hand me a chunk of money so that I could infuse this station with what they need to get them running, so we could start making money. And like I said to my partner today, who went head-to-head with me over, he was not leaving the town of Fairhaven because there might be a call, and I told him, get in the truck, because we're going. That we're stuck in a hole right now, that we need to make money to get out of, but we don't really have the resources right now to pull ourselves all the way out. So it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of patience. The board has been very, very receptive to everything I've said. They are getting educated too. They've all been handed a 30-page copy of Vermont EMS rules and regulations. And we sit down and we talk about them. And we talk about equipment. And we talk about needs and protocols and things that they've never heard anything about, because they sat on a board that they thought was the business was running. And it wasn't. It wasn't running in the right direction. And it wasn't all the board. The board was uneducated, but the staff was not doing what needed to be done. So case in point, and I will shut it off after this. On every ambulance, you need what is called an IV warrant. and it looks like an insulated lunchbox that plugs into your ambulance port. You put a 1,000 milliliter bag of saline in it and keeps it at a constant temperature. Okay? Pretty simple. They're expensive, $400 or $500. Okay? Something that doesn't age out, something that has been required on an ambulance for years. You looked everywhere. Stripped that place apart. I mean, literally, we were pulling filing cabinets apart thinking there had to be one somewhere. Couldn't find it. Donnie Proctor knew right where it was. Went and put his hands on it, called me and said I put it right on the table. So the next day I walked in thinking, yes, thank God, it's a heating pad. I know, and that's how I felt. It's like, and not only is it a heating pad, it is not a heating pad for human use. It came out of a dog bed. And all I can say is, well, Your Honor, you know, we heated that bag of saline with the only available warmer, and it was a heating pad for a dog bed. And I can just see the lawyers going, oh, yeah. That's what we're up against. And I kept hearing, well, the staff had no morale, the staff wasn't doing what the staff needed to do. It sounded for a while like there was a block, like if the staff said they needed something. Somebody who was not EMS trained either said yay or nay. And I've been here a month, it was before my time, that's not going to happen now. When we can afford it, we will have an ID line. The good thing about the EMS community is we have put out the word. We need this and we need that. If anybody has extras, and people are looking for us and trying to find new stuff so that we can have these ambulances up to code so that when I pick up your grandmother and I need some more saline solution this winter, it's not coming from the inside of the damn dog bed warmer. It's coming from an IV warmer that I know is keeping it at the correct temperature the whole time. So that's where we stand. If you have any questions, yes, sir.
I have two. Right now, when you're not doing transports, we do have coverage in town with what you have set up now.
Okay, so no, because what I am setting up is not set up to run yet.
Okay.
So tomorrow, we've got a new staff member who is coming in to learn how to do transports. Transports, they're easy, but they're confusing. You need to know everything there can possibly be known about how to move a patient, because you don't know if your patient is sitting in a chair like this lady, if they are bedbound with no mobility, if they have broken femur, if they have a head injury. All of those people have to be moved in a different way. So there are slide boards, there are sheet lifts, there are stand-in pivots. You have to know how to do those. Then you have to know how to get from one place to another safely. So this guy is already cleared to drive, so we've got that piece. Then there comes the paperwork, because if you don't pick up your paperwork and it isn't, all the T's and all the I's aren't dotted and crossed and the right boxes are checked, that all gets kicked back from Medicare, zero money. Now you have to go back to Dartmouth and you have to find the doctor that signed that, and you have to get an addendum, and you have to get that paperwork done correctly. So all three of those things need to be ingrained before you just let it go.
Second question, are we covered from previous towns now?
So mutual aid, you've got Colmaine, you've got Swedesboro, help me out. Granville, thank you. Regional.
Even Fort Ann if you need them.
Even 40, yeah. So, and those are all a long ways away. So, we are really struggling with our state dispatch. We have a hard time understanding them. They tone out 5 or 6 times for the same thing. People are waiting 30, 40 minutes before a crew. You don't want that to happen. It's going to take time to get things back.
Is the call volume gonna be an ongoing, long-term problem?
Yeah, so I can't see the call volume all of a sudden getting like really great. So I just, this morning, this afternoon, received information from Washington County Dispatch. They sent me our last fiscal year's worth of calls. So we know where we went and at what time and how long it took us to get there. I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks, but I plan on taking this information with me and trying to get through this data to find out when are we the busiest, when are we not getting calls, when, I mean, if there's been 3 calls on a Sunday afternoon after 3, do we really need to have crew here from noon to midnight or noon to 7 on a Sunday? We want to keep everything up and going, but we've got a line that we can't cross. And if we're not making money while we're here, then we're just going a little further home. So there's still money. They tell me how much. I got way too much on my mind to even try to remember. There's enough money there, I hope, to get us out of this hole.
What exactly do we have for coverage? I heard there's a plan for night coverage. We're going to start paying people for night,
Yeah.
but we don't actually have people on at night. Or
Yeah,
we will.
Right now, so this, for August, you've had coverage 7A to 7P, 5 days a week at banker's hours.
Yep.
And that's what I tell my EMS friends. Well, I've just, retired down to banker's hours. With the first of the month, we've got our new people coming on, but I'm not going to be here for a couple of weeks. I don't want to start anything new until I'm back. I want to make sure what we've got going is working and consistent. I wish I could tell you more.
Well, it's just...
Increments and little steps.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
Thanks for what you're doing, really.
Thank you.
We're
We
100%.
really want it to work.
How much did you say that warmer was?
Yeah, so whenever you put any kind of a medical logo on anything, and we've tried to think out of the box on a lot of these things. And thinking out of the box is going to work until we have an ambulance inspection. And our last ambulance inspection here, as far as I can see, was in 2016. The only good thing I can say is one of my workmates in Middlebury is on the inspection team. And I would hope, number one, she would let me know before she was coming. Or she would say they probably got enough going on right now. And I don't feel as though it'd be appropriate for me to call her and say, well, put on your radar because we wouldn't pass if you came down.
Well, it's on PEGTV
Yeah,
now,
you-
so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll probably get an inspection now.
So please come stop at the station, 7A to 7B right now, you'll catch somebody.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. Anytime, just let me know, I can stop.
Mr. Capron. Mr. Capron, where?
He's in the back hiding.
How the heck did he hide?
What are we gonna talk about, Joe? Are we gonna talk about the concerts and how great they were?
Yes.
I think so, but to lead off with Fred and I were talking, and his group, and I'll let him talk about in more detail, but his group has a little bit of money that they would like to maybe give to the town for a project, but instead of just letting that money sit in a bank account until it's used, We talked about putting it into CD in one of the local banks, so that way it accrues some interest. So I think Fred's here to talk about that, the project, and then how great things are.
How long have I got?
Got 15.5 minutes.
2.5 hours, I'm good. First of all, thank you very much for letting us come in. We got many people three people from the committee. We have Seal Hunt, we have Scott Lobdell, and I have 3 faithful concert workers that are here every Thursday night for us. And I want to recognize them. Basically, we had, we're going to do it first, okay. What we've done is, and Bob, you know this, the committee made a commitment that we would put $25,000 towards lights in the park. That commitment is still there. We've got 20,000 accumulated, and we've got a little bit left over to get us so we can do next year. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to put that $20,000 in a certificate of deposit and just put it over here and mark it. Maybe we could make a couple bucks interest on it to make it that much more feasible. And I was told that I just gotta run it by you guys and see if it's okay. It's concert money.
Sounds good to me.
And it will be earmarked.
Like,
I'm being recorded.
Lights in the park.
you are recorded.
I'm being recorded, so
PEGTV again.
I beg. So are we all right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think, don't they have to say yes? No, they don't have to? Okay.
You want us to say yes,
Spoke
Fred?
about that often today.
The what?
Consensus of the board.
Consensus of, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna continue on. I got some good news and I got some bad news, but we'll suffer through it and we'll make it happen. The good news is we had a very successful series this summer. We got rained out once and had to go into church. We had 45 people. We got threatened with rain a couple times and our numbers were down. But if we take out the good and the bad, we average about 600 people per concert. And that's a pretty good number for, you know, a little town of Fairhaven, but they come from all over and everybody is happy. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I'm going to speak for me, but I know the committee is behind me. We would beg of you, board, if somebody comes in with an idea, and you're the boss, we understand that, but if you would just get one of ours opinion, it would help so much. One of the things I'm going to be talking about is the stakes. And one of my committee members is on the library too. If somebody had said something to us about those stakes, we would just said, hey, keep them around the outside. Maybe keep them in the north end, up here. Don't put them where our people walk every Thursday night. And we've got some old people, and I'm an old person, so I can say it. We've got some old people, and Jesus, if one of them ever fell on one of those and got speared, we'd be in trouble. And speared is a big word, but it can happen. My main goal is to make these concerts very good, and we've pretty well gotten there, but safety. Safety is so important, because if we get somebody that did get hurt real bad on a concert night, that'll travel like wildfire, and I think it'll kill us, but it will certainly hurt us. And if we could please just say, well, maybe just check with the concert committee, just to see what we got to say. And if you don't agree with us, I don't care. At least we got a chance to speak. The other thing is, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, Jeff, but you probably...
I figured this was coming.
Okay. The farmer's market came to us, met right in this building. And we set up, and they wanted to go Thursday night. I said, hey, I think it'd be great. Thursday night's wonderful. Then I said, the only thing is, we need that area to park vehicles after 6 o'clock at night. Because when we have a big crowd, we're in trouble.
So we went on and they agreed and it was a wonderful thing. Then they decided that, oh, if we could just start breaking down at 6 o'clock and get out at 6:30. No big deal. Like, we don't need that parking until 6:30. So we're all set. Everything, John, you park cars and Scott, you, so it's not something I'm making up. But as we continue on, somebody from that, instead of coming to us and saying, hey, geez, committee, what, can you help us, you know, we'd see what we could do. But my friend, Jeff Sheldon, inquired why farmers market vendors cannot stay beyond 6 p.m. All agreed they can stay as long as they want and do not need to leave for the concerts.
We did that, yeah.
If you'd have said, hey Fred, hey Scott, hey Seal, why is that way? It's simple. We need that area for parking. And the only way that the concerts in the park has been successful, and we are successful, we work as a team. We're always a team. And if any of you folks want to just say, hey Fred, why do you do this? I'll answer it. I might be in trouble for it, I might not get the right answer, but I'll be here. And I will answer it, Scott and Seal will all be here. And if we don't make sense, fine. And you guys are the boss. I'm not standing up here saying, hey, you know, boo, boo, boo. That's not the way it goes. But anyways, do you, Seal or Scott, do you have anything to add to what I've said? It's just, can we please work together? So if something comes up, if you just say, hey Fred, hey Scott, what do you think about this? We'll give you our thoughts, knowing damn well that you're the boss. Thank you.
Can I just ask how far along in the process we are towards getting lights in the park? Because it gets pretty darn dark. And like Fred said, safety is key. We get a little nervous when it gets that dark with 500 people trying to leave the park.
Seal, are you asking me?
I'm asking the board. Yes, you.
We're not close.
No, so we did apply for a grant to get this paid for, and they liked the idea, but they said, well, it just feels like you want lights in the park. It's not really a facilities grant. And I said, yeah, it's just lights in the park. And they said, no, we're not paying for that. So next year there's another park grant coming up in the spring, summer. We'll try again. But right now we're dead in water.
I have a quick question. Fred, it's usually the last 3 concerts when we start having problems with the darkness, correct?
Exactly.
What if there was portable lights by the fountain that would shine down the 2 walkways? If it was high enough, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. That suggestion has been made. And the only problem I have, if you're going to do that, you've got to have one of those generators. You're talking about.
It'll be a portable generator. It'd be one with the lights with the generator. That's the only way you could hook it up.
But you wouldn't start it until
they got ready to leave, until they left.
I think that would work as a temporary.
Right.
But the reason I stayed back on that and not said, oh, Jay, that's a good idea, because it's a great idea. I was afraid if we did that, it might dampen the validity of putting lights in the park. It just scares me a little.
I mean, I would just say if it was temporary for the 3 weeks of the darkness. Because it does, I mean, the last concert, nobody left. And it was late. It was almost 9 o'clock by the time everybody got out of there.
Oh, sure it is.
And I would just want, if we just light the pathways so that people could walk, at least see to get back down the pathways.
I think that would be a great idea if it doesn't.
Yeah, but don't start, you can't.
There are lights up here.
There must be a local contractor that has one of those setups. Like I think
it's just a suggestion. I mean, but I just think it was.
It's a good suggestion, and I couldn't agree with you more, except if the rest of the guys say, oh, hell, those guys are all right, we're not gonna put lights on. Oh, man, that's.
Safety first.
We do have one light off the Marble Mansion inside that lights up the inside of the park pretty good, but the rest of it is dark.
It's too dark for the safety of our people that come there. And I'm not beating up old people, but we have a lot of older than
Elderly.
elderly.
Thank you.
And they just talk to them. Boy, if somebody gets hurt, I'd die. I just couldn't.
Fred, you're almost as age as I am.
Yeah, I'm almost as old as you are.
I'm just wondering, because I know one of the things that they want to start are Friday night movies in the park. And I know that group has got the equipment and things like that, so that's another,
Vision for life.
activity, that involves a lot of kids, people of all ages.
Well, we wanna do that, it's just, we gotta find $100 and some odd thousand plus 120.
So 100, we're down to 100.
We got 20.
We're down to 100.
So
Get the budget
that's
down
the
to about
problem
60.
now, is to find the other money.
Is that using the same evaluation or the same plans
Oh,
that
they're
they
gonna look
did
nice. They need to
a
look
couple years
nice.
ago?
Along those lines, they weren't, they,
Candle path or whatever they call it. Candles.
Joe says he's got the budget down to 60.
That's,
Oh.
so,
Really? Good
the,
for you.
what
Attaboy.
what we originally
Right.
had, there was Jay's favorite thing, a study was done. And then the people that did the study recommended these, they're beautiful, but they're custom made light poles. You know, it's just like, you
They were a
could,
tad expensive.
they were, that was where all the money was coming
120,000.
from, was from these poles, so
I wonder how much the ones
we
in
did
Fort
work them
Ann
down.
were.
okay.
So
All right,
we're
so
getting a little
we're
more
getting-
reasonable.
We're getting closer.
Good.
You have to work harder.
We haven't forgot about it.
Do you guys have any questions?
Budget time is coming up, so don't be
Anybody?
afraid to make your point, you know,
I did,
your plea.
the concerts I attended were very good this year.
Say that again,
I
Jay.
said the ones that I attended were very good this year.
Thank you.
They were,
We work hard.
and, you know, the group.
I gotta tell you right now.
Your group is out around there all the time, and they're pushing stuff, you know, and
We
it's,
need
you
20
know,
some odd people to put that concert on. When I took it over 8-9 years ago, we had 3 or 4 people, and we did a great
Maybe
job.
2, yeah.
Now it takes 20 some odd people, and faithful people. They're there every Thursday night.
well, I want to thank them
Well,
personally. Thank you for doing what you do.
Very good time.
any,
So I know poor Jeff was tossed under the bus on this.
no, I didn't toss him under the bus.
But I
I
have,
crashed your plane.
Yes.
I would have to say from my perspective, and I know this is an unpopular perspective, that the park is even on Thursdays for everybody to use.
Couldn't agree with you more.
That's
So-
not unpopular.
That's, well, maybe it's not, but, so, we talked about the posts, the story walk, and some of them had been damaged. And then I walked through again, and then some of them had just been moved and set over to the side. While it is the concert is a wonderful thing, and I don't want us to shoot ourselves in the foot to not do this, but at the same time, the gentleman came in from the library and said, "Can I please do this?" And the board said, "Of course." Instead of, and I would ask the concerts, instead of just smashing the signs or
They didn't.
taking the signs and throwing them near the fence, it would have been just as easy to pick them up and move them. It would.
They did.
We started,
I found there was some
We did it. I
broken.
talked to Nate.
There was
I
some
broke
broken.
one, I was trying to get it out of the ground.
And
What
Friday-
happened
no, but Friday-
was, the people that put the signs up decided they were gonna put them exactly where we've parked our truck and trailer for 10 years.
Yeah, no, I understand
So
that.
when
but-
I went to pull them out of the ground, I broke one. Don't you throw me under the bus, I'll
But-
get
okay,
you,
so-
Joe.
so-
I'll get you,
No,
Joe.
so Friday I came back around.
So we
know
picked
this
them up
story.
and we laid them again. Now, here's another thing.
But Fred, let me finish. So Friday I came back around to do we had movies in the park, and there were the signs. They weren't put back. They were just kind of leaned up against the fence over there, out of the way. And I thought, we're sharing the park. Why can't we share the park?
Because it's 9 o'clock and we can't see where the signs go.
Oh, I forgot about
And I
that.
told Nate.
Oh, because you need lights.
No, it's
Yeah,
10
right, 'cause
o'clock.
there's no light.
It's 10 o'clock at night. We've
By the
been
time
there
you go
since
home.
3 o'clock
Yeah.
in the afternoon, in case you can't total, that's 7 hours.
Nobody's
And
saying
we
you don't work hard
our
and do a great
butts
job.
off.
No,
And
And
TV
to
show
put those
goes on
signs, get a
library.
I know.
flashlight and see where the...
So we
But
really like having the story walk.
But
Right.
how
So
good
we
would
hope
it be if we put the
you're gonna
signs
have
on
to
the other
put that
end?
up.
Yeah, why, I would say the two groups get together and make a plan,
No, in this,
Yeah, well,
so that, you know, it's not, you can show them exactly where you guys have to be. And they can do I think the story walk in the park, whatever you wanna call it, I think that was a good thing. I saw a lot
I think it's
I saw a
great.
lot of kids doing it.
Yeah.
But get together, the two groups get together, you point out where you have to be, and then let them do everything accordingly
Everybody-
to the way they have to go.
And I also, yes, I'll point out where that we have to drive into. We close
You
space
gotta
off
have
when
enough
get-
room to get in
But
and
the
out.
other thing is where these older people walk. I just don't like seeing one of those stakes up
Yeah.
here like this, because it's dark,
maybe-
and if somebody trips, and, I mean, it's probably 1 in a million, but if it happens, the
It only
town
ha-
of Fairhaven is gonna be in trouble.
It only has to happen once.
We can
We
make that
can,
work.
we can figure something out. I-
Good, I'm done. You got any questions?
No, sir.
I'm out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do
Thank you.
appreciate everything you do, and the committee and everyone.
We do. It's a great problem to have.
Even though I
so
would-
much
It is a
going
great
on in our
problem.
park. It's, we can work on it.
Right.
If we can work together. That's it.
Absolutely.
I'm out of here.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
I think there'd be enough cross between the two committees, they could figure that out.
Just let them get together.
So you gotta have-
Well, Seal is on every committee, so it should be,
Yeah.
it should be, right, Seal? You're on every committee, so you should be able to liaise between the three.
We talked today, he's fine with it. I told him, I
We've
said, I
already
had to
talked
pull
to
out your son. He said, fine with it. He was not kid. Not an issue.
Thanks, guys. 9.
We're ahead of schedule.
Not for long.
Bruce Folsom, free garbage dumping.
Yep.
Hey,
Mr. Folsom.
That's your,
saying about free garbage.
Good. That makes it better.
I don't know if you guys can do anything for me, but
come on
I
in.
had an agreement back in, one second,
January.
January. I did 4 days of community service, supposed to be 3, but I was sick one day and then told I had to start over. So, did 4 days of community service at your transfer station. Under the agreement that when I was done, I would pile recycling, not trash, recycling on the ground next to my trailer. Supposed to be removed. The truck came up. Sam was the one that brought the truck. I loaded as much as I could into the truck. The rest was still frozen to the ground. We're talking February, March, frozen. So, saw my paperwork. I assumed, I spoke to Sam, and told him, I said, I got what I could, it was froze. I figured, you know, it wouldn't be an issue for another truck to come back in the spring when it was unfroze. So I started calling Joe in, let's say, April. I started calling him, I think it was when it was unfrozen enough for me to pick it up. Did not get a response from Joe for a month and a half until it was about the job, which I now hold at your guys' cemetery. I don't know if you guys want to see the paperwork or not, but all this stuff. That's not me. It's just all the paperwork I got with it. So I agreed to 3 days. I ended up doing 4. And when Joe finally called back about the job at the cemetery, which I agreed to take, I work at the cemetery. I was staying with my supervisor. I fill in where I'm needed as well. So when I spoke to, I got another letter in June stating that stuff had to go or I was going to be fined again. Now, granted, if I put more stuff out there, yeah, sure, but it's the same stuff. So, one, I don't have a truck. I got a Saturn. It's not mine. I borrowed it from my ex. 2, it's impossible. Well, not impossible, but it would take me forever. I work 5 days a week in town. One day, the transfer station opens on Saturday. Now I probably make 30 trips or so with the old Saturn. So recently, after the letter I got in June, I got a $250 ticket. Why am I being ticketed for stuff that I was told would be taken away by the town after I did the community service? For the same stuff that was going to be taken from the town that I did the community service for, why am I getting a ticket?
So we did have a deal with Bruce. We reached out to him. He got a ticket back in January because of the excess garbage in his yard, and we felt it would be neighbors helping neighbors. We let him do some volunteer work because he was out of a job at that time. come and dump your garbage for free. At that time, Bruce said, look, man, my truck, I don't have a truck. And I said, okay, we'll send a truck, neighbors helping neighbors. And you can still dump your trash for free. You can still do it for free. I'm saying, I'm not sending another town truck to pick your garbage out. The town has reached out to Bruce, we've let him dump for free. We've brought a truck down there to let him, to pick up his garbage, and we gave him a job.
Which at the time was frozen to the ground.
So at this point, the town has fulfilled their agreement with Bruce. Since January, you've refused to remove your garbage, even though the town has let you dump for free, and we gave you a job, and we've let you use a truck. But there's still garbage there. At some point, the town has to say, we're not gonna do this for you, we're not your garbage man. And that's where we're at.
Yep, and then back, when I spoke to you about the job, I said, when's the truck coming back? Because I don't have a truck still. And you tell me to go rent a truck. Now, wait a minute, I gave you guys $480 worth of work. So you're telling me the 10 bags that you guys took back in February, end of February, March, cost $480? How is that fair to me?
But if there was a whole truckload, I would say they're more.
It was not a truckload. There was like 10, 15 bags of the truck. Sam could probably, if you remember, could witness it.
Bruce, at the end of the day, the town didn't have to let you do that.
That was our agreement.
It was, but it was.
Yeah, I do the community service, you take what's on the ground.
And we will do that, but we're not sending town trucks to help you do
I have a
this.
question. Was the community service was pay for the fine, or to use the town truck to move the garbage?
It was so he could dump the garbage. The truck wasn't after
What
the
was the
fact.
fine? Was there a fine involved earlier?
Yeah, fine, no, there was a fine. This is a secondary, a new one that I just sent.
No, I'm
back
talking about back in
right.
January. Was
Yes,
there a
that
fine,
fine
was there a fine in January?
It was, I think it was waived.
It was waived because I started my community service, the next weekend I was sick. So I got a ticket, and then we just Joe waived it, well, whoever waived it, and I restarted my community service for 3 days.
The ticket was waived in lieu of, it wasn't to pay the fine, it was basically to gain compliance. Remember, we had numerous complaints on the residents that we had dealt with all winter. So again, we agreed to waive to dismiss the violation of the community service agreement that Joe had made. So when we started the new one, when we started in June, I got tasked to go around and do it again. I thought there was still stuff there. I
It's the
can't tell.
same stuff.
From I don't know if it's new stuff, old stuff. So again, as other people they got a violation again. Well, and again, we're amenable, however you guys choose to take care of it, that's fine. And our goal is compliance. That's why we were okay with dismissing the ticket in lieu of the community service.
So, the bad part of this whole thing is, and agreement was probably agreement, but you did send a truck down to take care of the garbage. And if you send a truck the second time, I guess I would feel I'd be entitled for the same benefit.
And the first time we did this, I was a little hesitant to do that. I agree with you, because you have to do one, you do for all.
That's the only thing. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to sit here to be a hard ass, but the thing of it is, if people start seeing this happening, everybody's gonna want it the same thing. And
like the chief said,
where do you say no?
And like the chief said, we were trying to we don't want to ticket anybody. We want, get the garbage out. You're unemployed, let's help you. It's a small community, we can help each other. This feeling of being, we're here to help. We don't want to hammer people. We want to help them without fines, but this has turned into something different.
But again, we're giving him free garbage delivery, or we're giving him the rights to dump his garbage for nothing, correct?
No, not my garbage. It's the recycling that's on the ground. Like my house, will have a regular trash guy come every week. So it's not like I can bring my.
But where did the garbage come from that was around the house?
I sold my company. I owned BJ Rubbish Removal. I sold it back in last July, and it's not garbage. It's recyclables. It's just a ton of recyclables. It's plastic bottles, glass jars. It's not trash on the ground. It's recycling. What it is. I just had no way to get rid of it because both my trucks broke down. There was 2 vehicles in the yard which I had those removed. So I'm complying with what I was asked to do in the paperwork. I had those removed, I did my community service. But I'm being fined for the same stuff that I could not get off the ground at the time because it was frozen.
But you
I
also
still don't have a truck.
But you also have 6 months, you had 6 months to do it.
Yes, that's why I said to you, I called Joe back in April when it started defrosting and asked him about the truck coming back because I still don't have a truck.
But I have to agree with Joe. If we do it for one, we're gonna have to do it for everybody. And the agreement was back in January to move the stuff out and bring a truck down in January.
Which
it wasn't our fault that it was froze to the ground. So the town did what they said they're gonna do. They sent a truck down to help you out.
Which
And
I appreciate. No, that's not a problem. It's just,
but it's-
I'm getting a ticket for the same stuff that was sitting there
But it's
at
not,
that time.
but it's not the town's responsibility to move the garbage.
It is 6 months later. I mean,
That's, do you want,
that's probably why you were reticketed.
Yeah, but granted, I called back and, so I'm telling you, I called back in the spring when it first defrosted, the recycling that was left over from what I couldn't get off the ground. Everything that was frozen, I called back when it defrosted. I did not hear from Joe for over a month and a half. I left him like 5 or 6 messages, didn't hear from him for over a month and a half until he wanted to talk to me about the job at the cemetery. Then I said to him, well, what about the truck coming back? Joe told me he doesn't have a truck available.
I'm of the same opinion as Jay. But what about hiring somebody that's who's doing what you were doing to do the one-time shot to get rid of it? Maybe we can maybe we can renegotiate the ticket at that time. But
I've already sent the
get
ticket in
cleaned
the
up.
court. I gotta go to court over it. Have to be sent in. But what I'm trying to get is some understanding here that it's the same stuff that was there originally. It was froze to the ground. I couldn't get it up, and now I'm being fined for the same stuff that I just gave the town 32 hours worth of work to take. Free labor, 32 hours.
Well, it's
And
not
you get the
free.
15 bags.
It's not free because we have to.
No, what I'm saying though is, to me, I didn't get paid. It was
I
free
understand
work.
well, you'd,
We're still gonna take it though, right?
you'd have,
Yes,
We
but
just-
I have no means.
He's saying he doesn't wanna do a
I
truck.
have no means to get it there. So I'm saying I work 5 days a week for the town, and then some Saturdays I'm actually at the transfer station, so I can't do it then. We can give them some kind of agreement. I work for the town. I can drive the town vehicle. Why can't I drive it on a Saturday, go out and get it?
Well, because
that's
then
not,
somebody else will make the argument.
Yeah,
Why
because
can't we
everybody
plow?
works for the town.
Why can't we plow somebody's driveway?
Yeah, but I work for the town.
You know.
If somebody comes up works for the town, they want their driveway.
my point is, if it took them 4 hours to go up there with a truck to pick that stuff up, at $40 an hour, there's $160 toward what a community service was. And then we're dumping the garbage for nothing. Did a town employee drive the truck up?
No.
Well, so we had to pay a town employee to drive the truck. I think the town's been more than fair. I think we've tried to help you. And then, we even went out, Joe even reached out for you when we had an opening for a job. I mean, I think they've been more than fair to help you with the situation. And I don't think a town truck should go up there because of the fact that it's not our.
No, I don't want, even if I don't take the town truck, I want the ticket dismissed is my main thing. I shouldn't have
Is
to
that what
pay.
you- what- is what
I should
you're
not have
asking
to pay
for?
for the stuff that's already there, it's been there. That's my issue.
So as any other violation, if it's not your remedy, we can write a ticket every day. Similar to cars we have in town at our school. So we can start writing you every day for violation. But I learned that in a battle we're having over some cars. So I'm not opposed if you comply to dismiss the ticket.
How am I supposed to comply with no vehicle to haul? That's my issue.
Other people have a car, and they manage to take 1 bag or 2 bags, or they hire a service, they can get it done. So I'm sorry, that's a really bad argument.
Yeah,
Because other people have trucks.
The other
My wife has a car, she goes to dump with a car. So again, you comply, I'll dismiss the ticket. Doesn't matter if it's gone to the court, at any time I can dismiss that ticket because I broke it. So if you comply and pick it up, the reason this was ongoing, because I heard it all through the winter, you need to do something, you need to do something. We went to you, I wrote you the letter, we gave you time, you did remove, the town did a deal, which is unheard of, but I had no problem with it because you did community service in lieu of the fund. So now, we're just back to, you haven't taken a bag a day.
No, I have been actually pulling some of it out and letting my trash bag take it every other week. So
I would
it's
put it
going
in-
down, it's just.
So when that's gone, as long as we haven't had a hearing prior to that, I would
There's
dismiss
gonna
the
be a hearing
ticket.
prior to that, you know how long it's gonna take me to get rid of that?
I can't help you.
No truck, I got a Saturn, it's not even my car.
the bottom line is we've heard it all, and we're starting to repeat ourselves, everybody here. What's the board think?
Well, I think Bill's already spoke to him. He said that if he makes an attempt to get rid of the garbage, Bill'll take care of the ticket for him. But you gotta see more than one bag a day. I mean, you gotta move some stuff, so, I mean, I think Bill gave him a good offer, right? And it's up to you now to take care of what you have to do.
You're gonna take it for free, it's recycling.
Where I stand on this one right here is, I think, but I agree with, if you resolve the issue, which is get the garbage out of there, and it sounds like disposal of it, it's recyclable or whatever, but it's free, then the ticket goes away. Understand, it's been 6 months since this process started. I would make that happen sooner rather than later, because once
You're showing progress.
Yeah.
In other words, we're not gonna pound you, but we need to see progress, and we
There
feel.
is progress, as I'm saying, the pile was this high, it's now this high.
Well,
I mean, I'm doing what I can,
Keep doing it.
and I'm getting a ticket, it's just.
Because it's not, it's
there.
Because it's not gone. That's what it comes down to. We're in a 9-month process.
I just let him keep on bringing it down there. If he brings a couple bags a day, so that's the way it is.
I'm gonna end up in court before that, prior to that.
Well, then take 4 bags a day,
We'll,
whatever.
we'll keep an eye on that part of it, Bill.
It sounds like Bill will work with you if there's good progress.
Our goal is not to ticket you and not to fine you. It's just for compliance purposes.
Wasn't the answer I was looking for. Okay. Department head reports.
We got the mower going. I've been around doing roadside mowing, I got the mower going. Been patching holes. Worked on the sidewalk out here, helped the guy out.
Joe.
Had the excavator there. Basically just getting things buttoned up. Did get the toilet hooked up, water hooked up. Handicap ramp is 3/4, I just got the inside railing. So now we just gotta shift gears and start doing some fall work before. We got the grant to do Scotch Hill, Kings Road, and then Monroe, the big road, over that big culvert. We got that.
Bigelow's gonna be a brand new road, isn't it?
I guess so.
That must be coming to an end though, isn't it?
I'm not part of
No,
that.
I mean, that project's gonna be coming to an end, isn't it?
Nobody's been up there for a long time.
There's
You
a
haven't been
culvert
up
that's,
there.
It's a culvert down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Wasn't big enough to begin with.
There's a new one.
It's, brand new culvert.
Down by Cody.
And there was some guardrail you're talking about.
guardrails.
Spring. Right,
Things are flying by. It's
yeah.
Just trying to keep up.
The road striping looks good, the crosswalks
We
and
did
stuff.
that, we got that paint. We got another paint today, so we got this.
How come they're not using the sprayer?
One of the nozzles was wound up on it, so we gotta figure out. Unclog, then spend some money.
Can we buy a new nozzle for it, or?
Can we soak it?
I guess we could, Jay,
Soak
but they said they're expensive, so trying to do it,
Can we just soak it in thinner or something? I don't know how.
well, it's water-based paint.
Thinner probably. Eat right through
Wasn't-
that.
It probably wasn't clean last year.
Yeah, I don't think it was clean fully.
I hate
I
to.
mean, the bad part is that they're just taking more time to do what they have to do.
That's right.
Because everything's being done by hand. And with the sprayer, I mean, they used to knock out
Yeah.
3 or 4 crossings a day, I mean, when before. And now it makes it hard on them guys, because it's taking more time. If the nozzle really isn't that expensive, maybe we gotta look into getting a nozzle, so we get the sprayer going again. I mean, I mean, if we look at the price of a nozzle compared to our labor costs, I mean, it might work out better, that's all I'm saying.
Rid of the holes is plugged up.
Looks like the nozzle, because it's sprayed out one side and not the other.
Well, see what you can do.
Sure they.
Questions for Sam?
How's that tractor working?
Loves it.
Good. Good.
No, you won't be able to reach over the guardrail with that.
Yeah, if they're coming off the exit, that's the state.
Is that our responsibility to just handle that? Not down.
I see the restroom
you know
got
it's
the
a hazard like
handicap
that.
ramp put up.
We should.
Someone's gonna go down and pick up some of the other garbage, so it looks a little rough.
If we know.
Finished up there, well,
Looks
not
good.
finished up there today, but
You were
we
there.
ended there. Tomorrow we'll go back and finish up the handrails and everything.
Always good.
Beautiful.
I gotta put some gravel and topsoil around the cement, because it's this higher than what the ground is, so we're gonna level that all up.
Perfect.
Good.
Anything else?
It's just been a quiet 2 weeks. Last night we did have a call for an intoxicated network. When the officers engaged in each other, was loaded. Investigation revealed he was convicted felony, he was disqualified by the radio. He was charged with possession of a firearm, and he was in violation of order of protection. He got brought to 25 pounds on bail. We did a death investigation that would have on the street. Outside of that,
Questions? Okay.
I don't wanna bring this up, I don't want you to think I'm picking on you or anything like that, but I've asked about the trucks on 4th Street. There's still continuing big trucks coming down through there. This morning I was at Stewart's, and a Budweiser tractor trailer came down through, and our police officer sat on the other corner, and the truck went through and he went up 4th Street. There's a sign right there that says, no trucks.
I will ask him. I know
Okay,
that
I mean, I'm just, again, I'm not picking, I'm just asking a question because, you know, I see it all the time. Unfortunately, I sit there for coffee. But this morning, I just couldn't understand, even if he just stopped him and warned him.
Well, I will ask him because he came to me this morning and he actually, I sent him out at 4 o'clock this morning to address that problem.
Okay, now
He said I was on enforcement from 4 to 7 and I didn't see the issue.
He was right on the intersection. He was on this intersection on South Main Street and the truck drove right in front of him.
I'm not saying it did.
No,
but
I'm just-
He came to me this morning and said, that he didn't say anything, and I know he was out
Yeah,
at
well-
4 AM. And I know as I had the highway safety guy, I come up a couple of hours early.
But I mean, if just,
7 o'clock in the morning.
I'm not saying you had to give the guy a ticket, but if we just stopped and warned him, so stops it.
I will ask him. if-
Any chance that truck's,
Huh?
it's a Budweiser truck, but any chance they're delivering to the high school?
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Yeah, that's what I thought too, you
Budweiser to the high
know? But anyways,
I would cut out the
even,
middleman.
the other thing, let's check the signs and make sure there's signs on both ends. You know what I'm saying? On 4th Street, make sure there's there's signs on the other end to it, it says no trucks and it's, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there's no signs there, I don't know.
I think there's one.
There's the
There's
sign.
one on this end, but I don't know about the other end.
Well,
So,
there's one on this end.
there is? Okay, but I mean, just check to see if there is. I mean, maybe there's not one there so the truckers don't see it, so.
There's one on this end.
And it's always coming this way. They're always coming off in
Yeah, one by
22.
Stewart, so.
They come down through there.
I have to look tomorrow.
45 to 20.
That's all I got.
You're
That's-
fine.
That's all I got.
The other thing is the no parking by people's bank. That's a state road, so we can't really put up a stop.
We're gonna hear back from them to see if we can.
Let's say, okay,
And we've asked them for that, okay?
Yeah, it's,
we were gonna put that.
yeah, they said no.
They said no?
Well, they said we have to ask permission
No,
first.
we need to get permission.
We did, we made
Tell them we
it.
were gonna ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, it's already there, what do you want me to do? But no, we've made our official request to be
And
trained.
they haven't came back on that.
Okay.
Which is, and that's my fault, that's news to me. In town, I thought we had every right to put that sign there, but we don't.
Well, yeah, because the state highway starts right there by Valleys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or Maple Fields.
They put this 25 mile
School, school.
Bless you.
Sometime.
Any other questions for Chief or Sam? Town manager.
Okay, so we're talking about tax sales, and I'm gonna need a motion from the board on this. We've had difficulty getting people to do our tax sales for us, there's just not enough time. So Bev and I have started doing them ourselves. We started with an easy one on 24 Washington Street. The tax sale will be September 30th, and I'm asking the board if they would like to make a bid on this house, if they wanna make a low bid.
Is that the picture that we have in the paper?
Yes, yeah, so the picture you have in front of you, that's the home that will be up for sale.
What is the balance on it?
The owed back taxes as of today with penalties was $3,807.15. The listers have this valued at $137,000.
I think we should bid up to what was owed on us.
So the board would make, I would need a motion.
Motion to make a bid for the amount owed on that property.
And $3,807.15.
No second.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
Well, it will exceed. It'll be a little more because when are you doing the tax sale?
September 30th, so we can make the
Not to
bid
exceed
at,
$4,000.
yeah, whatever it is.
Is that all right with everybody?
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Plus expenses.
That works.
Yeah. And we learned, so I was trying to get to 15%, just as a heads up, I was trying to get to 15% legal fee for the town. We're not allowed to do that, but I can collect the 8% delinquent tax collector fee. So that, unfortunate for the homeowner, but it's just that every little bit, because I do have a lot of time involved, so it pays my salary.
Is there a second to that?
I second it.
Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Is this the only one we've got going right now?
I'm still new at this, so I'm taking my time, Jay. I want to do this
No, I mean,
one.
but
Yes,
this
that's
is
it.
the only one we had to act on tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
Deal with this later. The Legion is having a community fun day, September 14th between noon and 3 at the Legion, 72 South Main. It's for Fairhaven residents and everybody's invited. So if you're interested in having family fun, there's a magic show, hot dogs and soda.
Community fun day.
Yes.
So it's a,
Are they gonna have outside consumption there?
I think they got.
Do they have a
I think they are.
permanent one?
No, but they have kids there, so they probably won't.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
I'm just wondering if we have to give them,
Well, it doesn't say.
They'll ask anyway, I think.
Yeah, they
They're
have
really
their.
good.
we won't have
outside
another,
consumption already,
yeah, we will have one more meeting before.
Yeah, I can ask.
The budget season's here. Bev sent out the department worksheets today. The board will be seeing those at the first meeting in October. We also were buttoning up that capital budget, so you guys will be able to see that too. Water meters, for those who received a water bill, you might notice it doesn't show your your usage by gallon.
Shows consumption.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
it does something
Show anything.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Didn't help me.
Yeah, the computer system, since we're swapping over from the old system to the new system, we're unable to put that, there's just not enough space on the line, is the way Bev described it to me. There is a calculation, and then if somebody calls, she can give you the consumption. But right now, we're kind of going
This
through
is
some
going to be the
growing
only
pains.
bill that comes out like that?
No,
I would say no, we're gonna have some growing pains.
Well,
it'd be nice to get
it's
it on.
kinda hard to accept the bill when it all says you owe this much money.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have, I mean, it's one thing not to have the numbers of the meter, but not even have the amount of consumption that you used.
We'll see if we can get a workaround on it.
And like I said, on my bill, it went up $94. And I wanna know why. I have no idea to check in. I can't go back and check on any of my numbers.
Yeah.
Well, mine went down if that'll help.
Glad yours did.
But that
Well,
is
if it helps anybody, mine was about the same.
I
Up, down, and the
I wasn't
same.
around.
What I'm saying is, I just think they should
That
get
answers
into it.
the
We've got,
question,
we've
I couldn't tell
got, we've
the
got
gallon.
3 months.
We've
We've got 3 months before our next bill goes out. And either get the people that's doing the software to get in here and get it straightened out. Because I don't think anybody should get a bill that's not itemized.
Yes, yeah, and we knew we would have bumps in the road, and we're working through that, so we're
Is it the fact that we're running two different things now?
that's the reason
Like
it's
once
two
you get
different-
everybody switched over,
It'll be fine, yeah, but because there's an old
but
meter.
it's gonna
new
be a
meter,
while before we're.
But the people that got the new meters in, the next bill should come with the numbers on it.
Would think.
We're hoping.
Well,
We will, it will
make
be.
sure that you get the software people in here to make sure it's.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So just in case anybody had questions, we understand and we're working through it. I was gonna ask the board, I didn't wanna just do this, so Tracy Adams came to the Board of Abatement. And that was around our delinquent tax policy. I felt uncomfortable giving him more than one agreement in such a short period of time. Would the board be amenable to updating that policy, maybe providing a little bit more guidance for people like me who would rather have something spelled out?
I think your argument was valid. I just think that it was worth just the time. The time.
Again, I couldn't be here because of work, but is the current bill being paid?
Every agreement we've made with Tracy, he has been good.
No. Is the current year tax bill being paid, being kept up to date?
Yes. Every agreement we've had, yes.
It couldn't have been because he's paying all 19 last year's.
He's paid last year's off. There was a slight overlap.
But he didn't pay last year's taxes. He didn't keep up with last year's taxes when he had the agreement.
Well, that's what he was doing to get up to that. I mean, that's what the whole purpose of it.
The way the policy reads, correct me if I'm wrong, the policy reads,
Keep your
that you keep your current taxes current with the agreement.
Yep.
And he didn't do that last year.
No, 17-18 overlapped with 18-19. That is true for a couple of months.
Paper I got is for 19 taxes, the year of 19. All of 19's taxes were not paid, and none of the quarters were paid.
18-19?
That's what it says in the paper, up to 19,
I
year
would
19.
imagine not. Yeah, I imagine he doesn't have any of that paid.
Well, then how can you make another agreement if you didn't keep current agreements?
Well, if he rolls in, so we're into the 19.
Because the Board of Abatement told you you could.
Yeah, well,
He didn't pay, he didn't pay last year's taxes at all.
18 and 19 are not paid.
Right.
Where we've moved into 1920 now.
Okay,
Right.
but he's supposed to he had an agreement in 1819, didn't he? For previous taxes.
And he made each of the
Correct?
payments.
Yes.
Okay, but he didn't keep that year's current taxes current.
17, 18, there was an overlap. Yes, that is true. That was not. It was 3 years ago that there was 3 years back overlap.
Yeah, so, but he didn't keep the agreement, he didn't keep up with policy.
Yes.
Okay, so let's revisit that.
Yeah.
I was under the understanding he was making good on it.
What I heard in that one there was he lived to his agreement, was making the payments, there was an overlap, and what we were talking about was an additional few months.
It
was a whole year.
And there was a misunderstanding about the amount of time, but I also don't think we should be redoing what we did at the Board of Civil Authority. If you want to bring the policy in, we can have a discussion then.
No.
I don't want to keep beating that dead
I don't
horse.
either, but policy is policy. We're on some people and we don't get on others. So, and I don't, personally, we have a tax collector here. Our tax collector's our town manager. If he makes the agreement, that's the way it should stay. I don't think the Board of Abatement should be able to come in and change an agreement that our tax collector has made.
That's the job of the Board of Abatement.
That is what our board, I agree with, I would agree with
Okay.
Bob. That's what our job is.
Right in the
And if you
rules.
want to weigh in on that, come to the Board of Abatement meeting.
Well, I would have, I didn't have to work. Some of us have to work for a
But
living.
we had the rules right. in front of us.
Again,
I don't mean it.
Don't get me started
again,
on
I
that.
don't think we should second guess what the group that came here and made the decision. More than willing to talk about the policy, bring the policy in, we'll look at it. But we only have half the facts right here to try to rehash that, and we're not gonna do
Do
it
you
with
have
half
the
the
stuff
facts.
from, never mind, I'll go get the stuff after the meeting and show you what I'm talking about.
Okay,
It's right in my truck.
moving on.
Moving on.
Next.
Got more?
Nope,
Let's revisit that policy.
It would be nice to have it a little bit clearer because
Let's work on it.
bureaucrats like myself need that.
Let's work on it.
So no, I've created enough hate and discontent.
What do you got?
I'm done. The
Join the
school,
club.
the school,
I don't believe that for a minute.
the school.
You got plenty
certificate.
left, you got plenty left in you, know. Okay, see, right off.
No, wait. Before I have it.
School and town land survey deed and approval.
Yep, so this is the land swap behind the grade school. The lawyer did look at it, like we mentioned last time. No problems with it. He just wanted to bring it to our attention that the school does have a right to send their kids down, according to the
Yeah,
state.
we never disagreed on that.
No,
That's
we
right.
didn't. So he just wanted us to know that. And that was.
Does that have to be in deed anyway, or does
Isn't that in this paperwork
have
we
to
have
be-
here?
In there.
That's in there, that's what he's saying, right?
Gosh, he was just
It is in
looking
there?
at it.
Okay,
Yeah, I think-
well, then that's,
We both have the right to use the other ones.
The other ones,
Right.
It's reciprocal.
so do we need a motion to accept this now?
You do, and Bob is the chair, and they have that paperwork for Bob.
Then I'll make a motion that we accept the paperwork for the transfer of the properties between the school district and the town of Fairhaven, for the graded school, for the Fairhaven graded school.
Is there a second?
and I will second.
Questions, comments?
I'd just add,
I mean, I read through that and I looked at the stuff we had from before, and I didn't see where anything changed. It was just the fact that we had a,
cleaned it up.
yeah.
With Bob's.
I just,
I guess we didn't sign it the last time, because we wanted to go to the lawyer, right?
Right.
that's what, yeah, we want. I'd just throw out for everybody
Shits
that
and
we,
giggles.
well, that we appreciate all the work they did and the money they spent to do it.
They spent some pretty good money, close to $10,000 doing the research, the survey, and the attorneys. So,
Money.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying, it's not the school and the town, it's us.
Right, right.
All together. And we have to start working.
Don't
Yeah.
feel sorry when they couldn't donate $1,600 toward a sidewalk.
Yeah.
They didn't ask us for 5,000. I don't feel bad about 16.
Everybody okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We are swapped. 30 South Main Street, discussion.
This is the issue that just won't go away.
There's a
so-
lot of them.
Yeah, there's a, so you guys know we tried to sell this property, the two high bidders backed out at the last second, so we're still stuck with the property. I did contact the Hughes Group and they provided us with this report. I guess it's up to the board if, I guess I'm asking the board if the board would like to move forward selling it through the real estate market. And if the board would like us to do anything with that property, like demo it or clean it
That was
up.
gonna be my question. I thought we were gonna have Doug Wood demo.
No.
We've talked about a lot of things.
The last discussion was that Joe was gonna talk to the real estate people before we made a decision to do it. Reading through this, I think it behooves us to demo. Because she puts in here what that empty lot could be worth.
Right.
You know, and that will more than cover any expenses that we had. And I just think cleaning a lot up, I mean, if Doug, what was it, 1,200 or something? No, I don't even want to say what he said. But, I mean, let's look at what it's going to cost us to get it demoed. So the next meeting, we have something, a figure that we can look at. I personally think it's worth more with everything gone, cleaned up.
I agree. I don't think, I think she's a little, optimistic. Because that's what Debbie wanted for her property out back there. Of course, it's not on the road.
Right.
Water and sewer.
Right.
But
this also has road frontage.
right. That,
See, I mean,
there
that's,
is a difference.
that's a,
I know.
I guess that's where we're gonna look at it, is that you get the road frontage, plus you got the lot on top. With town water and town sewer.
Right.
And if it's cleaned up, let's face it,
Yeah, I agree.
just with the trees gone and the building gone,
So
would certainly make a difference then.
Does that barn go too or no?
Oh, I would think we'd get it, I'd say we'd take all that stuff.
That was in the,
Take it all. Yeah, it was totally wiped that thing out, cleaned it out, it was everything.
Let's find out what that is for next.
get us a real number and we have one
For a
anyway.
decision for our next meeting.
We have to, so I've already contacted the asbestos abatement guy. He's gonna come out, he was supposed to be here today, I don't know what happened to him, but, once we get that number, see what that's gonna cost, that'll be our numbers.
Okay.
And so you can have some accurate numbers for us next time.
In the meantime,
It just looks good with just having the lawn mowed.
yeah.
I mean, just going up and keeping it mowed made a difference, you know? and-
Yeah.
and it just,
So we're in agreement that it's going
you know,
on the market. We'll see in what form next meeting. Yeah, this ought to be interesting. Sewer plant replacement.
This is,
Motion to replace.
this is a two-part discussion. Pete's here to talk, I know the board asked if you guys want to spend some time talking about the actual replacement before Wayne Elliott came back. But
Nope.
Pete,
Go ahead.
Peter's here, he needs to replace a large piece of equipment. When we were talking about the budget a few months ago, Peter had requested 6,700?
6,700.
6,700 to go in a equipment line, and that did come to me.
We cut that?
I don't know if the board cut it or if I just didn't put it in there. So, but either way, the money is not there.
There's 5,200 in that line.
Yeah, so how much do we need?
The quote came to $6,800 even, so 1,600.
1,600. So, we're asking for this discussion if we can spend $1,600 out of the sewer reserve, not the sinking fund, the
Capital.
the capital reserve fund. And then Peter's budget will cover the rest of the cost.
Well, it's a piece of equipment he's gotta have. I mean, we don't, really, we don't have a whole lot of choice.
So-
But
It's one of those pumps.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
It's an aerator.
Second.
Second,
I'll make a motion that we
John seconded.
put the money, come out wherever you want to take it.
Not to exceed 6,800?
Not to exceed 68.
Not to exceed 6,800, or?
That's fine,
No.
that was the quote on it, 6,800.
But it's the difference you need, right?
You need the difference, yeah.
The 1,600 out of the reserve.
1,600.
We understand what we're doing? Mm-hmm. All those in favor?
Aye.
Wait.
Whoa.
No. It's 50, all we need is 1,600,
It was
correct?
6,850, I'm sorry.
$1,650 we need to take out of the.
Right.
1,600, not
That was-
6,000.
Right.
was coming out of
It's
your pocket.
$1,650 out of the reserve fund.
Yep.
Okay with that second? Try again.
What's the
All
name
those
of
in-
the reserve fund?
Capital.
Capital
Capital.
improvement.
Sewer capital.
With the balance coming from Peter's
Regular
budget,
budget.
regular budget. Okay?
I'm gonna try again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
And that doesn't short you in your budget. That's okay out of that line.
It cleans it out.
Right, it makes it look
Don't
better.
everything else break.
It's all ground up, Peter.
It makes
Peter,
it look,
it's all ground up.
makes that budget neater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were gonna talk about sewer replacement. I think that deserves
That's a
a
whole
little
more.
more, a little more time than we have tonight. Everybody's okay with that?
No, that'll take some time.
Okay, we will table the rest of that discussion, if you don't mind. Sorry we got you out, well, you need to get money anyway.
Bob, do you want me to short fill the next meeting, or do you want a special meeting?
No, I don't, what do you guys think? We're gonna hit a lot of special meetings coming soon.
Yeah.
The biggest question I have, if you wanted to be prepared for it, is there a happy medium?
Right.
Can we go in the middle? Do we have to replace the whole thing?
I missed that.
What?
You don't have to answer this tonight.
Well, I don't know what the question is.
As far as the sewer plant replacement, I just wondered if you have an opinion, if there's a happy medium between a $3 million plant and
We
a...
looked at 3 million, is there,
$4.5.
is there a way we can take a smaller bite of the apple there and have half
same
of that
results.
$3 million?
Jesus, I am.
And,
Think about it.
yeah, and it's not to catch you on, but that's really with that discussion, because I don't know where we're gonna find the money.
Okay, well.
I do.
Yeah, I can give it some thought.
Exactly where we get it all.
It looks like the short answer
Yeah, but
is
I
no.
mean,
The problem
It's an old
is
plant,
where, how much can people take?
and I guess
There's just, it's, I know if the engineers were here, they would say, there's so much that needs doing.
It's costly to do it.
And everything goes together. You can't put in this new thing
Yeah.
and then later on run the piping to it.
Right.
It's-
That ends up...
That's it, that's the
Yeah,
short
yeah.
answer.
All right,
Yeah, that's,
thank you.
Sit down and mill it over, Pete. Come back and let us.
Yeah, you think about that
That's
simple.
a big charge.
And remember, you won't be here.
No, I won't. I'll be smiling.
but I'm on your side, so I'll let you speak all you want.
I'm not against I just wonder if there's other options.
I'm against the taxes we're gonna have
It's
to
our
pay for
turn,
putting it in.
boys.
I just don't know.
See,
We have so much
It's
money.
our
I'm
turn.
not against doing what
I still
like-
think
needs to be done.
part of it should be on the town, because
I
everybody
agree with you there.
everybody benefits from it.
One way or another.
Of course, you will get hung.
Oh, yeah.
You will get hung from the highest lamp
Sure.
And
post.
they shouldn't be able to vote on it.
I agree.
But isn't that governed by law?
It's because it's an enterprise fund, you're probably right. Yes.
Yeah.
Then why are we're better off to put all this back under one budget.
Probably
Yeah,
everybody.
Anyway,
Solar
power moving.
Put everything back under
Yeah.
So when are we
Moving
meeting on
right
that?
along on this
Is that a special meeting?
Put everything
We're gonna have a,
Try not to.
Let's try it on the next.
I'll
Let's-
short shift the
I
next
think if
meeting.
we put some thought together and frame it, we can have a discussion as part of
Tell
the.
everybody they can't come, don't invite Fred.
All right.
Or invite Fred, maybe he'll have some money.
I mean, we,
Joe,
They'll have the money,
They'll
but
have
they
an
don't
idea.
talk about
on
it.
your short shift, don't miss.
Alright, keep going.
Okay, so solar power. I forget the name of the company. They've come back and they said, look, we want your business, but we can't give you. They want to give us the whole 7.5% savings, but their funding won't let them give it all at once. They said they would be happy to do that and escrow 2.5% until about year 20. In year 20, they said then they would turn over all the credits to us, either mostly by not, we wouldn't have a power bill for however long that takes to burn through them.
My problem is, we made a decision on this 2 weeks ago. We made a motion not to do this, and it bothers me because they keep coming back and wanting to change the thing to get our business. We're still talking a lot of years, and when I feel when a company comes back and keeps trying to change things so they can get your business, there's gotta be a problem.
Or they're hungry.
I say,
Or they're hungry, but-
my vote is to stay with our motion that we made 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. Finish it up
it's,
that way.
when you start talking percentages, were they saying they wanna now give us the $5,700 per year?
3,000 stuff.
Is that the?
No, that was the original one was 3,000, but if they're gonna go back to it's 7.5%.
I think you're still
But
gonna
the
get,
original March proposal was,
right.
the original March proposal, we'd get 5,000, about 5,700 or 162,406.
But they're not giving it to you.
They wanna keep, what's throwing me off, they wanna keep, of the 7.5%, they want 2.5% to put in an escrow account, to go, and I'm with,
So I think you're
no
getting,
strings attached, if you wanna give me 5,700, but again, the thing I don't know,
They're gonna give you
as I was
38.
looking at that, I said, the Energy Committee, what this comes down to is, if it undermines what our Energy Committee is looking at and trying to do with hydro,
I agree.
I don't wanna undermine it
I
either.
think it trades away.
which it doesn't, right?
What we could use.
Right. And every minute goes by that we don't do something in the hydro plant.
But are we
We
not,
lose.
are we not doing the hydro, are we not doing anything on the hydro to move forward because of this project?
No.
We're not doing it because there's nothing really to do.
We're waiting for another decision.
Right.
Right.
From the
Yeah.
state, not
When that'll
But
be
the other
for
thing
coming.
with this whole deal, what they're
Just
trying to
saying,
give
we're
us
not-
now,
spinning our wheels.
we're not gonna see any benefit for this until 20 years.
Right.
No,
We're not gonna see any extra money for the next 20 years.
3,800.
That's all you're not going to get what they're saying they wanna give us. We're not gonna get any of that until 20 years.
3,800.
We get the 3,800.
Right, but you don't get the balance.
That's the way I read it.
2.5% in escrow.
It's 3,800. The 2.5%'s in escrow, not the whole.
Not the full.
Yeah.
But you would realize a savings of 38 for, just as an example, for 20 years, and then in year 21, that big.
If it's still there.
If the
Oh,
company's
wait.
still
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
I think-
I don't know if we'll do that.
I'll make
It's
a
a lot of
motion,
years.
I'll make a motion that we stay with the motion we made before.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
I don't think you.
I don't think we have to do that.
We don't,
Well, I'm serious. I mean,
I think we
it's
stick
a
with the
bad
motion we
idea.
had. I just feel we,
Well, the other thing is, we're not gonna be here 20 years from now either.
I'm
In
hoping
that
to
case,
be.
Let's just burn the Amazon.
let's
It's
just,
already half gone.
I say we just let it go the way it was done before.
So
Sam, you
if these gentlemen come back, I'm just gonna tell them, look, thanks. but
tell
no
them, Sam,
thanks.
hey, you're working hard, but we're giving way too much.
Yeah, I don't wanna
We're
keep
gambling a
that.
lot away. That may.
It's not even that. Our reservations are different.
Exactly.
It's not the. It doesn't seem to be that money number. It's not enough,
It's not enough.
and it's too much time, and the recs.
Who the hell knows what's gonna
There's a lot of.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with the fact
I
that
guess.
this is the consensus of the board, just stay with her. All right.
Good job.
What I think about it.
New business, we'll do V-Trans first.
Oh. Addition.
That's the,
It's an addition.
Yeah, that's the addition. So, how much, 18,000?
17, what was it?
So V-Trans gave the town of Fairhaven almost $18,000 to do with the culvert over on Bigwell. I would need a motion from the board and Bob's signature.
is there a motion?
I'll make the motion for this discussion.
Not from us, right?
To accept the grant?
Just Bob.
To accept the grant.
Is there a second?
Accept the $18,000 grant.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah. Is it going to cost 18,000 to put a culvert in?
That's what I'm a little worried about.
No.
What happens to the rest of the money?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we can do another culvert.
I mean, does the money stay with the town?
Probably not.
I bet it's earmarked right there.
I bet not.
I think you get what you probably bill for.
Right.
Right.
If you're gonna show time and materials and
Just like we did with gardens last week, we showed everything we did on Big Road.
just make sure that road doesn't get any narrower where you put that culvert in. All I've got.
Put a 60-foot culvert in.
Highway now, I haven't been up there in a while.
Well, like some of those, like one of the driveways ended up a little bit narrower than it was, right?
What's the width of the road up there, Joe? Or, yeah, Sam? What's the width of the road?
I never eliminated it, I never eliminated it.
Is it,
I know where the big culvert is, I opened that up at least 7 or 8 feet. The trees were growing this side of the ditch, so I cut them all out of something.
so the road's gotta be at least 30 feet.
Oh,
So we need at least 45 feet of culvert, right?
He knows what he's doing. Figure it out.
No, I'm just saying, but,
I priced out a squash culvert from FW Labs, a 4-foot squash culvert, which I think they want a bigger one in there. That was like $3,000 for the culvert. That was 40 foot.
would that require cement headers?
I would think.
There's your expense.
Which is, yeah.
There's your expense right there with the cement headers, because you gotta wing it.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
No. Gotta do what we gotta do.
But that'll all be in spec. You're just gonna do it to the grant spec.
Long time, anyway.
Good.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Right here. Oh, sorry, Joe Flynn, I thought it was, they missed yours. Okay, resolution for People's Bank.
Yeah, this one is a little off. It's not trustee of trust funds, it's trustee of public funds in Vermont. People's Bank is where they keep their money, and they're doing some internal changes. We just need a resolution from the board to authorize our current trustees to still be authorized individuals, and that's it. The bank account number is changing and a few things are changing, but nothing significant to us. It's just an internal workaround. So
We're not losing any money.
no, we're not losing any money. It's just they changed some stuff, so now we need to do some paperwork on our end.
They have to have a signature for the new account number,
Yeah,
basically, right?
that's it. There's really no changes. The trustees are the trustees and the town is the town. The bank is changing an account number.
Is that what the motion is?
Yes.
That's what I was trying to figure out. What the
Oh.
motion would be. And I'm going, oh, the motion.
You could do, approve the resolution. You know, I don't know, approve the resolution
To change
For-
the account.
Big-
for People's
People's Bank to change the numbers on our trustee of public funds accounts.
That's your motion.
Is that a second?
Second.
There we go.
And this
Got
is
that
for,
clear?
Made the motion.
There you go.
I shouldn't have to ask, but someone was just saying.
That was to authorize the chair to sign.
To change the numbers on the account.
No, but to authorize the chair to sign the
Yes,
resolution.
yeah, the truck,
To
yeah.
sign.
That came with it. We got that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Good to go.
Lucky you know what you're doing. She's good at taking care of the books. She does a good job.
I thought you were saying to me or.
No, no, I said Claire, I said it's good.
Nobody ever accused you.
Nobody, no, I know that. I know that.
Nobody ever accused.
Excess equipment sale.
So in front of you had that,
Are these the bids that people give us?
Yes.
the number? Yes. And I have the actual bids in my possession in case anybody wants to take a look.
I'll make a motion right now that we sell a tractor to the Family Brothers. $4,100.
Make the motion for all?
All of them. I'll make a
All
motion
of
for
them
all
that are
of them.
highlighted.
High bidder. Second.
I'll make a motion for Mike Egan to buy the V-plow for $500. The Family Brothers to buy the tractor for $4,100.
We plow, Jake,
That says V-plow on it, yeah, for $500.
That's the high bid.
That's the high bid. And then,
You want to do them all in separate?
all right, whatever. I don't care. You guys do whatever you want.
You do, no, go
No,
ahead.
it's fine with me. I just want to get that tractor taken care of.
Start with that one.
Start with that one.
I can have it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's helpful.
All right, so the motion, we're gonna do it one at a time.
Okay, the motion is for Bartholomew Brothers to buy the tractor for $4,100.
Second.
Glenn seconded that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Just a minute.
The same tractor, gone.
Is it Bartholomew Brothers?
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
You're definitely spelled wrong.
That's what I would say it is.
B-A-B.
Yes, you do.
I couldn't read what he wrote, and I thought, who is Bartholomew Babs? So I could-
Bartholomew Brothers. It's
Okay.
a farm.
Brothers.
It's a farm in
Oh.
Beth.
That's
Wonderful
You guys
woman.
do.
And they love sound.
One way or the other, they just bought it.
And it's
Or five.
Yeah.
And parts.
Sami tractor.
These
It'd be
people
great.
bought this stuff.
They bought the Sammy?
Sami.
There's an accent AQ.
Oh, funny, it's a tractor.
No, I looked at Sam and I said, what are we saying?
Why didn't you say John Deere or something?
Because it's not a John Deere.
I would have known that, okay.
Yeah, or
All right.
tractor would be.
All right.
Moving right along.
The wheat flour is gonna be,
Why would we, couldn't we get more than $500 for that V-plow?
It's, we posted it,
That's the
that's just
bid.
what came in, yeah.
That's
It's
the one bit.
The board has every right to not sell it.
What's it go on?
And if we keep it, what are we gonna do with it, Sam?
I tried selling it, I tried to put it somewhere else where I can. I mean, it's up to you guys.
We were cleaning our stuff out and getting some money. I'm just saying, are we starting our next pile
Well,
of
the
stuff?
question is it really worth
Yeah.
like $2,500?
I'd say closer to 3.
3,000?
Like I kind of thought I'd see like a 1,500.
Yeah, we did it.
Okay.
$500 is good.
Well, let's sit on it for a while then, unless anybody's.
Yeah.
But it is the only, he was the only one to bid. So you can take it if you want.
Right.
All right, moving on. Fisher Plow.
That one's not as nice a shape.
We can let that go for that price.
Make that motion.
Motion to have the Fisher plow go to Scott Marcel, is it? For $300.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Now Bruce is gonna get a truck to haul his garbage.
Well, that's the next
I was
one.
just gonna say, we got the truck problem here. I thought that.
Look at there, man, fixing things left and right today.
Make that motion, someone?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Sell the
I'll
truck
second
to
it.
Dodge pickup for $500. To Bruce.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All these,
Bruce has
all
got a
these
truck.
sales are final when we're paid in full.
Paid in full.
Yes.
Nothing moves until the money's there.
As is where is too.
Wanna buy registration?
Well, once he can do it, as long as we get the money, he can do whatever he wants with
Well,
it.
I'm just thinking, go back for that. Anyways, okay,
So let's re-advertise the V-plow.
Yeah, need 1,500
or
at least.
put it out someplace and see if somebody.
It is a 1918, right?
Put it,
2018.
Tell us that.
2018.
I was gonna say, put it in the park for the next concert.
Right
right behind the,
But I would get in trouble for that, so.
Hey, I think you better be careful with the crack.
Tell her and say, look, I want to bid on this for $2,500, no less.
why not, right?
Yeah, put a minimum on.
Okay, moving right along.
And you're gonna tell all the people who didn't make it that they didn't get it too.
I guess.
People like to hear.
Just,
Not one bid on the generator.
just to point one thing out, with what we just sold here, they'll take care of the tractor.
Yeah.
You just
think so.
So all the scrap and all the sale of the
Yeah,
equipment
paid for
we're
the tractor.
using pays for all the.
It paid for the tractor.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then some, I think.
Okay.
And would we let Mike Egan know that if, that the plow, the V plow, that we're not gonna give his bid, that we
Deny
need
it.
we needed a minimum, which we, in hindsight, didn't put out, of 1,500, just in case Mike Egan wants to pay 1,500? Or we can't do that because it's outside of our
I don't,
bid process?
we really don't have a policy around
Well,
this. I
technically
can if
you-
the board wants to, I guess.
Technically, you've bid it out.
We bid it out, and we
You
said
didn't
that we
bid.
didn't make a minimum amount that we needed, then we probably should put on, but I said, if he wanted to pay 1,500, would we be just asking a question?
I'd probably be okay with it.
If the board's good
Anybody
with
else?
that, I'd be happy to do
Give
it.
an offer, let him make an offer.
And if not, we'll,
Right, then
Try
go,
somewhere
then
else.
if you don't get it, go the other way, but let's not start another junk pile.
Because I'll call that
Yeah.
guy from Benson to see if I can
I got 6 bids and you see what you got, but no generator bid. But yeah, that generator, man, it's the right
It's
person.
hard to hook up though.
Yeah.
That scares people off, I think.
But the motor itself is worth something.
Yep.
Even if somebody has to take it off, put it on a power plant or anything like that, I mean, it's, even if the generator's more or less obsolete, where it's, maybe not obsolete, but it's gonna
all-
cost you more money to hook it up,
It's all about that one plug
unplug it, yeah.
that we didn't get with it. When they
Wonder if there's any way
made
of,
me so mad.
Getting
I
that
wonder if
plug.
there's any way of going through the National Guard to see if they can get one.
Someone asked this question.
That's where it came from, right? Wasn't it from the?
It's an army surplus,
Came across
Yeah.
the pond, didn't it?
I did.
and we got a really good deal on it, but then you couldn't hook it up.
Maybe we can
And our
get somebody,
service from-
ask somebody from up the National Guard up here to see if they can look at it and see if
Maybe.
we can get a plug for it. That'd make it saleable, more
Yep.
saleable.
Or even usable.
I think, unless I'm all wet on it. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
don't know anything about it. All I know is it starts.
Makes power.
Parking lot stuff?
Oh, yeah, Bonnie's still working on vaping. Capital budget's out with, the department heads right now. They're gonna send me some feedback. Town hall, the oil tank, I have 2 quotes, but we're gonna have to release that for a bid. But we need paperwork to send to the state, so we're still working on that. Salt shed RFP is out, and I haven't made any headway on the paving schedule. But we'll get there.
When I keep seeing on this item, the policy to cap reserve funds,
Oh,
that keeps showing up there, what is, I've looked at, I've been meaning to ask, what are we,
Putting a minimum and a maximum.
we think we're getting too much in our reserve, and we don't wanna get
Well, we don't
$1
want
million
to
excess.
continually
Right.
load it up if we don't use it.
If we're not gonna go and use
What
it.
is it, how much money should we have in any one of those accounts? For instance, the
Sewer capital reserve.
yeah, the bid or the grant match on how much do we put in that, that kind of thing like that.
Okay.
So it's not a,
It's hard to nail that one down.
it's hard to nail it down. It's not high priority because we rarely have enough in any
In the
one of
reserve
those.
funds, that's why I was wondering what,
I mean, we could just take it, drop it.
that's what,
Well, so
But
what,
it's worth, but I think it's worth.
I mean, we should talk about it.
Yeah, we should.
Maybe
what,
it doesn't show
Especially
up
when
every
we're
week.
doing this next budget.
what comes to mind is the emergency fund. The town as a whole, with all its funds, is bringing in $15,000 in just interest. And all that money is being dumped into the emergency fund. So you have an emergency fund with over $300,000 sitting there now. And then the town, our capital, I forget the word. So the town has their capital reserve, which is the wrong word to use, but we have like 118,000 sitting in our bank account. And then highway has, $100,000 sitting in their capital reserve bank account. And it's just a bunch of savings. So what do you do with $15,000 interest instead of accruing this emergency fund up to 500,000, whatever it might be? So that's what I'm thinking.
That's what you were looking to do, because I was,
Well, it doesn't,
Not really.
yeah, and it doesn't mean that we couldn't take the reserve, we couldn't add that interest to another reserve.
Why
account.
doesn't the interest just buy down the general fund?
as,
Because it's earmarked
The interest?
for that,
For that
because that
particular
fund is making interest. I would think you'd have to leave it there.
I think it's,
I think we ought to check
But
it.
you're not now. You're putting it in the emergency fund.
No, but I'm saying, but that money from the emergency fund is making the interest.
No,
All of the, no,
He's
all
saying
of the
every-
funds generate.
All of it goes in.
All of
Well,
the,
I thought they were all put into their own thing, but
Own
if
one,
you're
that's
putting
what-
it all together, why not, it wouldn't hurt to put it all into the general fund. To have a perpetual,
Or maybe
$15,000
earmark,
income.
maybe earmark a couple years toward the garage.
yeah, more paving, it could be anything.
I was just thinking forever, you would basically have $15,000 falling into the general
Or,
fund. That'd be
or
nice.
pick up, like you just said,
you
the
know, what
paving.
would happen with that? It would disappear. We would just get very comfortable with it.
But you'd have to have it earmarked for something every year.
No, it'd just be,
Yeah.
your taxes would be down by 15,000.
Except we'd find something to spend 15,000 on.
Yeah, you got this extra money.
Yeah.
It would be
You're
easy.
gonna find someone to spend the 15,000 on, so
No matter what.
let's take the money.
but that answers my question. I
You're
was
taking the
wondering what
money
that, why we were looking at that, so that answers my question.
At least it's in an account somewhere and we know.
If I could
about
get to it, we could, yeah.
That would be a budget issue and.
There's a lot
when we
coming
get-
up, yeah.
When we start with our budgets, that's one of the things we're gonna have to discuss.
Thing where I can use the money to
Sam says he wants to pay.
pay.
I'm thinking 15,000 in general income, revenue. It doesn't really affect your,
Our bottom line.
You would bring it into the revenue side.
that's what I wasn't specifically earmarking it, I was calling it revenue, just making the amount to be raised by taxes $15,000 less, irregardless of what the actual budget is.
We're probably needing to look at
Reasonable argument for,
And you probably need
Is there,
100, but
is there,
15 is a
is there a
start,
policy that states that's the way it has to be?
potentially.
So the Board of Selectmen back, I don't know when, voted actually to move that interest into the emergency fund.
So we could do,
We could do that.
We could vote to
change
do it
that.
somewhere to change it.
Back then, the emergency fund was 50 or 80,000 and we wanted to bolster it.
Now it's at 300 plus.
On the advice of our auditor.
the Bulldog. You wanted,
He wanted 500.
3 months operating.
Well, that was Harry.
No.
Um,
All right, Ron
Guy- Yeah, the guy from Maine.
Smith.
Very smooth.
Okay. Board, unless anybody's got anything else? Board roundtable?
Only had one item. Did we hear back from the state on the lady who stopped in, this hall about the culvert by Beaver Meadows?
Oh, Lynn.
Lynn Howard? Well, did we hear back anything?
I did, I emailed him, I shouldn't say I talked to him. I emailed him and he said he was gonna be here either last week or this week. And he told me if Lynn had any questions, just to call him directly. After that, I haven't heard back, but I will check up with him, because he's due here now.
Okay. Good, that's all I have.
He's the
I don't
beaver,
care about his name.
Beaver culvert guy.
yeah, he's the beaver
Beaver
expert.
culvert guy, okay.
Is that title?
Got it.
Beaver baffle, yeah.
The beaver baffle.
BCG.
I saw a game warden truck go up through, but I don't know if that was. That's him? We also have game wardens up there, so I don't know.
No,
we've gotta do something about our coin drops. The last one that was up there, they had no safety vests. They had no signs. Gave nothing out to let people know that somebody had given. I'm more concerned about no vests and no signs, and
So
we gotta start watching it a little bit more.
should we just amend the policy and say if you don't comply with the rules in the policy, you can't apply again for a
think-
year maybe?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because it's, all of a sudden you come onto them and here's two guys standing in the street.
I didn't see any of that, but I
Is
didn't.
there cones or anything?
No, at that time there wasn't. I think somebody brought them up something later on, but the first thing in the morning until almost noon, there was no signs, no cones, no nothing, they just stood there.
I think if you just amended that to include.
It would be-
Reflective vest.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vests are, especially vests are important, I think.
Plus have that flyer just on it.
Yeah.
Since I've already gotten in trouble tonight with the concerts in the park, it would be fine with me if we didn't do coin drops at all.
Oh, I have agreed, I don't have a problem with that at all either, but.
If anybody ever gone through Whitehall all summer long?
I'm just saying, if we're gonna
That may be the major fundraiser or something here.
For a lot of things.
I'm just saying, we
It's
gotta.
just a major safety.
We just gotta do, to make sure the safety,
Vests.
they've gotta, I personally, who's ever having a coin drop,
Like,
first
I
of
would
all,
al-
should check with the police department, and then.
Well, I'd almost
and
have
Sam.
Bill park a car
They get
there.
They get the stuff there.
That could be a rule, that Bill's just gotta have a car there.
When was this?
If you're gonna do
Saturday?
Usually on a Saturday, yeah.
I think it was a month ago.
This was a month ago. This is, well, I know which one it was, but I'm not
Right.
gonna make any statements on who it was,
There was a guy that come down and got the signs.
but they never put them up until later.
Either way.
But anyways,
Should've set them up if you
you
did.
just gotta, it's gotta be tightened up a little bit so somebody doesn't get hurt.
I'll get in trouble next time.
If you want, I'll take a look at that policy, play with it, and bring it
I'll send it.
to that.
The only other thing, I don't know,
Always vote in one retired guy.
we should talk about this now or do it next, about the rescue squad, should we talk about the second quarter of payment?
We made a first quarter payment.
No payments have been made yet.
No, I'm saying, should we looking at the second quarter?
We made the first
We
one.
No, but I mean, but it,
Should we be making one?
yeah. I'm just,
Probably.
if they're getting the stuff going, I mean, I don't
They
know
need
what, I
money.
don't know what the policy is or what we can do, can't do, but right now, I feel that we've got somebody here that's
Really
trying to
trying.
get something going here.
We should give them,
Well, I think
And
we
even if we
really,
give them part of it or something, just to see,
I think we really have an
We do
obligation
it-
to give it
we
to
do-
them
yeah,
anyway,
we do
if they're
have-
operating.
We give it to them quarterly.
And it's voted.
So if it's on the warrant
Is it
for
on?
next week, or 2 weeks, what we owe them.
I just feel that,
January 1.
I
or
feel that
July.
they've given us some good information here.
Yeah.
They're trying,
Yep.
I mean, if it fails, then we stop the second half or whatever we have to do, but I think we should at least try to beat them here.
Yep.
I mean, like she was saying, she thinks there's enough money to keep paying the people, but she's not sure. And I think
We gotta pay them.
what we've got to give them, if it's gonna bring in the people they need, we need the rescue squad. And I think this is the most positive things I've heard about the rescue squad in a long time.
I'm trying.
agree.
I'll have Jenny put that in the packet.
And I guess that's about it.
Done.
I know Sam's got plenty to do, but at one time, I thought we had a hydrant maintenance schedule. It turns around now that we've got caps on fire hydrants that we can't get off. Broke 2 of these spanner wrenches to hell.
Cause
trying
you're
to
too
get 'em
strong.
off. Well, they're rusted on.
It's
You're too
impressive.
strong. Well, how can that happen, John? They open them every year.
No, they don't. Not all of them.
Why, Jesus, they do all the ones up in my
I think they
place.
come
Couldn't
right
get
down the
off
road and open
anyway.
every one of them.
They open every one of them.
No.
That,
So
Well, maybe you should get the ones that were
Well,
bad, find out where they were.
well,
We'll start
are they
there.
the ones that are marked black?
no, well, yeah, that's one reason
They're
there.
not supposed to be hooking onto them anyway if they're black.
No, black because it's inoperable.
No, they're black because they're low pressure and they're not supposed
I
to
don't
have
think
fire
we have
truck.
any low pressures left.
Oh, yeah.
All the new water
We've
mains.
got a bunch of them.
There's still some left.
But anyway, this was an in-service hydrant, and they couldn't get the caps off.
Oh,
They
well.
gotta be heated up with a acetylene torch to get off, cooled down, and then they put food grade.
Who does that?
Well, the fire department did this.
So, no, but like,
I don't
they just
know.
gotta tell
I don't know who did it.
Sam and Sam will work on it.
Tom is, I think that's coming up.
I think they'll,
Tom's been talking about it, we gotta start flushing the culverts.
Hydrants.
well, you did it this spring.
And then the other thing was, when they did get it open, the water ran brown for a day, around for people. And the water plant, I was told, couldn't keep up with the water that when they were flushing the hydrant.
Well, the
How much
water
did they
plant,
flush?
I
the
don't
water
know.
plant does wanna know when they're flushing hydrants.
I bet they do.
They've asked that repeatedly in here.
And who was flushing?
I don't
Who
know.
broke the wrench?
That was the fire department that did that.
Why is the fire department
Dude,
flushing?
it sounds like we need a little more discussion
Well, this is why I'm
between
bringing
fire
it up.
department.
I don't think anybody
Fire
really did
department.
anything wrong, they just,
Fire- Right, you know,
There was nothing that went wrong there.
Yeah.
They broke 2 wrenches, and those do break, because that's just brass.
First of all, that's brass.
Yeah, that's
And
brass.
Cast brass.
If you had a pipe wrench, you wouldn't have had this problem.
Sam does have a plan we just talked about today, in fact,
There.
to flush the hydrants and flush the culverts at the same time.
I think the policy,
What,
I
bring
think
a
the
hose
problem's
with it?
taken,
Yeah, he's gonna use a hose.
I think the
Smart
problem's
man.
taken care of. Sam's gonna
Years.
take care of it. I
Good
think.
Yeah, and it is a concern. You can't discount it, because if you can't get your fire hydrants open, but we're on it.
Brass.
no, but
brass.
there are a number of black top hydrants that, I think you still flush those hydrants, but they're not for fire protection.
Is it because they're low pressure?
Yep.
Jeez, I was wondering why we had those yet.
Because
else
the
you
lines
got?
ain't, that line's only that big around.
Well, some of them are main line, it's just there's
Yeah,
so
that's
much
the trouble today.
downhill.
Probably holes that big around, didn't it?
I got, nothing too important, but I was, year ago, we talked about trying to get the circus in, or 2 years ago or something. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do, bring people in, and maybe if we start working on it now, we might actually get it done. And maybe we could combine it with like a carnival and have rides and the circus and make it a big event. Do it up at the airport or whatever,
I
but
wonder if that'd be a good thing to do, like for around the Apple Festival time or the Spring Fling or something.
yeah.
Because you got people coming in anyways, and you could use this end of the park for your whatever.
I know the circus was big. They needed like 2 acres or 3
Oh, well,
acres
that,
or something.
yeah,
So
well, that could be a special event then, if it's that big.
right? Wasn't it huge? It was big.
I wasn't here.
I think they were gonna bring elephants and stuff.
Pachyderms.
Herb was.
Pachyderms.
I think that was Herb that was trying to do that.
That was a
Well,
couple
where
of
did
years
they have
before I
the
was on
circus?
board.
Yeah. But it's been a few years and
But
it's
it's
stalled.
It's something to look into.
But I think anything like that is a positive thing for Fairhaven. It gets people in, and I don't know if it's revenue. I don't know if we have to pay for it. And it may end there.
You could do it down the playground, the ball.
could do
say
that.
down at the playground.
It's just
there's
worth-
plenty of
At the
room.
big ball field.
Yeah.
Ball field, and we've got a new porta potty.
We got a new bathroom down there, and that soccer field looks pretty good.
There's a-
They just did.
You know, a lot of families that go to the concert in the park, they'd like that stuff.
I'll nominate Jeff Sheldon to look into this.
I'm
To do the circus.
trying to push it over to Joe. Is what I'm trying to do.
Joe, are you a good circus person?
I'm a clown, I've heard.
Problem was the ones at the airport and the vehicles.
Joe the clown. There we go.
Right, couldn't get the big
Vehicles
trucks couldn't get under
through the
couldn't get
tunnel.
under the road. That's why
Well, we
they
could probably bring
down,
them in
down
the other
behind behind the elementary school, out
I
back
see
in
right behind
that,
the
all that
elementary
meadow
school.
area and everything, parking.
That's why it fell apart at the time, but I mean, you can do it on the baseball field.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, just
We got a new bucket loader to pick it all up afterwards, so. You're bringing elephants.
I don't know what they're gonna bring.
My garden could use.
I think it's all this
Not
stuff
bad,
didn't
though.
go. There's a lot of positive traction going on. Let's keep it going.
It's a
Right,
good,
there's
it's
a
a
lot of
good
good stuff.
suggestion, and I
There's a lot
think
of
it's
good
something we should
stuff.
look
And,
into.
if it doesn't fly, it doesn't fly.
Yeah, I actually I've had a couple people now just randomly just chatting, and they actually said, boy, Fairhaven is looking much better. They said that the buildings are looking, the homes are being repaired,
Homes are being
they're getting
repaired.
cleaned up.
People are out.
Even if it was just the small carnival.
Anything.
Right,
Which is
just a few
like-
Used to
rides.
be
Yeah,
the
but now-
Legion or the.
But if you're gonna do a carnival, you gotta book them now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's time to talk about it if you were gonna do it. So.
It might
Sam,
even be
could you
bigger
build
than
a few
Rutland
rides?
Fair.
Could,
In your spare time, could you build a few
You
rides?
just lift people up and down with that excavator.
but we would.
Yeah, there you go. You spin them around.
If we were gonna do it in conjunction with, like, say, Apple Fest or something, though, we'd wanna be talking with the grade school that does. the
Yeah,
Apple
everybody
Fest
work
and-
together.
And a lot,
But
so,
it'd be hard to do it with that if you're gonna have it at
Somewhere
another
else.
location.
Yeah.
But the small carnival,
That's
which might be
split.
more doable in a year,
That-
is,
few rides.
could be there.
We could be,
It might draw-
we could be bigger than the Rutland Fair.
I don't think it'd be hard.
No, that's not saying much.
It wouldn't take a lot.
I'm gonna
that's a
shut
good
up
point.
because I've
No,
been.
no, it's a good,
You're
that's
gonna
a
get
good.
volunteered, that's what's gonna happen.
I already did.
He did.
Yeah,
We did look at this last year, and then we had nobody was interested. I called and called, and everybody said, well, it's the first time, and people aren't willing to take a chance on it. But we'll try again.
Yeah, I call
Well, the
you.
Wells Carnival, Granville, they go good.
That's what I figure. People go to these things. No, anyway.
Well, I mean, the wine and cheese thing was very well attended.
Heard that
I
was a
think with a
great
little
thing.
notice, we could get even more stuff going. So
Well, the more the merrier, between the concerts at Park and the Friday night stuff, Fairhaven's in a much more positive
looks good.
note.
Yeah.
It really is. That kind of stuff is helping.
The goat
That's a
kicked
real good
it out.
crowds for the concerts.
By the way, I thought the wine thing went very well.
I heard it.
what did,
I heard there was no wine.
who went?
There was
I got-
there was one lady that had
bottle
wine.
of bourbon on there, that was good.
It was good. I mean, I think it was very well attended.
I took one home.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's what I was told to, the old people I hang around with. said
The
it was
elderly.
Very well attended.
But and the band was good.
Yeah.
The band was
The
very,
music-
very
The
good.
music was good. It was good.
Sorry.
Sure. Mike Morris was here earlier today. He's looking, I'm glad you're still here. He's looking to, he'd like to help if there could be a helmet, the helmet program that we used to do, or that
Yeah.
towns
I talked to
do.
him and,
You did, okay.
One shift where Jay Real worked, he actually approached Joe and I, and he said, I drove around and I put on, when he was here full-time, he put on that rotary road, bike road, if you remember, up to the high school.
Yeah.
And he said, I rode around and noticed a lot of kids not wearing helmets, so he's already drafted a letter. I think Joe and I know I looked at it, Joe sees it or not, that we were gonna try to get donations like he had done in the past to get helmets and actually do a rodeo in the spring. So
Okay.
Jay's already was planning that, and then he said he would help us, so it's just.
Yeah, we'll check with Mike because he'll help, legwork, or
Yep.
the Killington Club may donate, who
They
knows?
might.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It could be very simple.
Stewards will give us things.
Well, that won't, that's brass, won't it, bro?
Ice cream.
Oh, yeah, that
Got a
worked.
room
That
somewhere
worked
with
well.
cast iron jaws on it.
I have another note here, but I don't know what it is, so I'll shut up.
Can't read
It
your own
says
handwriting?
paving, and I don't know what it means. That was a long time ago, it was several hours ago. It was. Revenue. Joe.
Checkbook $727,891.32. Motion to pay the payroll warrant $32,290.75.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to pay the general fund warrant $68,799.36.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Executive session, is that it? Yep.
Well, let's see, I got it here somewhere. Joel gave me a new one too.
Oh, good.
Up to date.
As you can see at the bottom of your agenda, our next meeting is January 1st.
That's, that's not a typo, that's correct.
Oh.
Well, my question was, how we're gonna go, what the hell was it? We're gonna do
The times.
executive session 9:45 and be dismissal at 9:15.
I thought it was gonna be fast.
Would have been fast, would have been in reverse.
Well, I guess I better do the motions then.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please do.
Motion one, under 1 VSA A1F, board agrees that premature general public knowledge of possible litigation against the town of Kennedy Places the Board of Selectmen at a substantial disadvantage if the case goes to trial. Motion 2, motion to enter executive session to discuss confidential attorney-client communications made as part of legal services to the board.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right?
I,
We're in executive session.